A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all-old-time radio.
This is Nightline, your tie line to the world, and this is Walter O'Keefe. Tonight, a visit to worlds strangely different from ours, the world of the future, the world of X-1. Now, here is the future, X-1.
Countdown for blast off. X-5, 4, 3, 2, X-1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents X-1. Tonight, Shocktroop. But first, hear this. Saturday, November 30th. An overflow crowd is expected to jam Municipal Stadium in Philadelphia for the 58th contest in a series that each year brings to a climax the greatest rivalry in college football. Saturday, November 30th. Army versus Navy. And you have a seat on the 50-yard line as Monitor brings you the gridiron. Mel Allen and Al Helfer will describe all the action, the excitement, the color of the game, as Army pits its bruising running attack against Navy's rugged defense and expert passing. You and your family won't want to miss the big Army-Navy football game, Saturday, November 30th, on Monitor. And you'll want to stay with Monitor for a weekend of sparkling and diversified entertainment. Celebrities, music, features, news, and sports. They're all on Monitor all weekend long. So start your weekend right with Monitor on Friday night and stay with Monitor all weekend long over most of these same NBC radio stations. And now, X-1 and tonight's story, Shocktroop.
In all his 7 major campaigns, Commander Zerem Lassen had never faced anything like this. First, there was the heat, agonizing, insufferable heat. Then there were the jolts, the convulsions. But most unbearable of all was the cross pulse, the interminable, monotonous thump-thump of the cross pulse.
Come in. Hello, Perak. Close the bulkhead. This heat's driving me mad.
Zarium, I think we ought to abandon this project.
Abandon?
As chief psychotechnician, I recommend it.
Oh? On what do you base this?
This macroorganism is unlike anything we've ever tried to colonize before. It's much too complicated.
Complicated? Perak, I've colonized life forms on 7 other worlds, and each time I've been advised to turn back.
I know your record, Zarium, but this creature is different.
How?
Well, for one thing, it has a highly organized psychoelectric system. The shock waves are fantastic. I've already lost 3 technicians.
These are shock troops. They know the risk.
And for another
Perak,
thing...
you're a fine scientist, but you're no leader of troops. This creature we've invaded will be subdued and brought under positive permanent control. We will achieve thermobiological conditioning to reduce the heat. We will achieve damping to muffle the crossbeat. And we will establish neuromuscular controls. And we will do all these things because I say we will. Now, come along. We'll inspect the tunnels. Ready?
Yes. I'll open the bulkhead.
Feel that heat.
Well, the thermo crews are doing everything they can to pull oxygen from the separators.
Tell them to work faster. What's the status of the control panel?
I'll see. Mandor.
Sir?
What's the status of the control panel?
We've tapped into motor fibers 1 through 46, Chief. We'll be ready for the central selector hookup very soon.
What about optical auditory intercept?
We're still trying to tap into the subject's visual system, Commander. The screens are set up, but we haven't been able to run a line from the main circuit.
Why not?
The charge in the main trunks is too potent, sir. Our instruments won't take the surges of current.
Then install transformers or resistances. Now get it down.
But, sir, 2 crews working in this heat with that noise.
I don't care about the heat or the noise. It is absolutely essential that we hook up visual intercept. I want you to...
Convulsions.
Hit the stanchions! Hang on!
It's passed.
I've never seen them quite this bad. What do you suppose causes them?
I don't know. I suspect they're reflex actions.
Sir,
What?
do you suppose this creature knows we're inside it?
Ceaselessly, the shock troops worked inside the host creature, burrowing through capillaries, tapping into nerves, trying desperately to intercept the intelligence and sensations so they might bring it under control. Oxygen was pulled from the separators to cool the tunnels where Commander Lassen's troops worked.
Yes?
Sir, we phased the interrogative feedback. We're ready to try for an image on the visual screen.
Excellent.
What about vocal auditory?
Completely phased. We haven't broken the speech code yet, but all sounds are clearly audible.
Blast that crossbeat. Can't the crews do something to muffle it?
We're trying. We don't dare go into the main arteries, not yet at least.
Have they calcified?
They're trying, Zerine. We've got calcification crews working like demons trying to harden the central blood vessels.
Very well. Lieutenant, is the screen ready?
Yes, sir. Does the commander wish to monitor himself?
Yes. These are standard controls, I assume?
Yes, sir. Focus is this knob. Brightness control is at the right.
Very good. Now, switch on, and we'll see if we can see what this creature sees. A little more focus.
Something's coming through.
It isn't a clear enough image. Bring up the contrast. There.
Well?
It appears that our host is in an enclosed space of some sort. From the orderly flow of articles across the screen, I would say it was moving aimlessly. As an item for resting on, it appears. In the background, a blurred pattern of light and dark stripes. Now, let's hear the auditory reception. May as well get the decoding section working on it.
I'll switch it on, sir. The creature doesn't seem to be vocalizing.
Now, what's the noise?
I believe that's a respiratory sound, sir, made by the creature's oxygen plant.
I'll try to eliminate it. Filter it out.
Yes, sir.
Doc, I tell you, I'm sick.
It's vocalizing.
I'm not... I'm trying to pull anything, Doc. There's something wrong inside me. Honest. Doc, please.
Try to break down the pattern. I want to know what the creature is communicating.
Yes, sir.
Well, Carrock, do you still think we should turn back?
We've tapped into the creature's communication system, Zerine. I think controlling it is going to be another matter.
We'll return to X-1 and Shocktroop in just a moment. But first... Now back to X-1 and Shocktroop.
Inside the subject, the work continued hour after hour, day after day. Inside the control room, Commander Lassen was haggard and weary. Outside, the crews labored in the tunnels, calcifying blood vessels, tapping into sensory nerves, tying circuits across sympathetic nerve fibers, and still no positive control.
Zarim?
Oh, Barak. What's happening?
Well, we're making slow progress, Zarim. Between the heat and the cross pulse, the men are beginning to crack up. They need a rest.
Anyone caught loafing on the job will be fed into the disposal units. Those are my orders.
Isn't that a bit harsh?
Are you questioning my authority?
Yes, I think you've been working too hard.
I'll have you... Listen.
What?
The silence. They've done it. Modification section is muffled to crossbeat.
You're right.
What a relief. Come on, let's try the audio-visual again. Maybe we'll be able to hear something now.
There's a picture coming in.
It's the same picture. Blurry, barred pattern. Objects for sitting and reclining. Switch on the auditory.
Right. It's vocalizing.
Listen.
I guess I didn't. It happened all of a sudden. This pain in my heart. Like it slowed down. I'm sick. There's something wrong with me.
If only decoding would crack the speech pattern so we knew what it was saying.
There seems to be another macroorganism in the room with it. Dressed in white, it seems.
Yes, I see.
I'm not faking, Doctor. You gotta do something.
I want the speech pattern given number one priority. No time for... That's condition red.
Commander, the vein is ruptured in Tunnel C. There's a leukocyte breakthrough.
Get the guns. I want a coagulant crew in there at once.
There are hundreds of the monsters, Commander. Shall we seal off the tunnel?
And lose weeks of calcifying? Come on, we'll try to coagulate.
The commander joined the rush of frenzied emergency troops rushing into the corridor. Ahead, crews were lugging hand sterilizers and broad-spectrum coagulators. Inside the tunnel, the scene was bedlam. There was a break in the wall, hemorrhaging profusely. Crewmen waded knee-deep in the nauseous sea of thrombin. Red corpuscles knocked them off balance. Every so often, a sickening gray leukocyte would rear up and embrace a crewman in a grip of acid death.
We'll have to retreat. The thrombin's rising. Lieutenant, give the order to fall back and seal off the tunnel.
Yes, sir. Fall back! Seal the tube! Fall back!
The struggle continued. New tunnels were formed. More nerves tied into central control. Veins and arteries calcified. The heat reduced to a livable temperature. Slowly, the morale of the shock troops inched higher, and Commander Lassen relaxed and grew more amiable.
Well, Derek, ready for the big event?
Yes, my crew is standing by.
Good. We'll try an auditory visual intercept first, and then we'll attempt to control a few responses.
We've tapped into the creature's hearing circuit now so that we can hear what it hears as well as what it says.
Excellent. Switch on the screen. It's coming in now. The creature is still in the same room, alone, evidently. It seems to be writing a message of some sort. Oh, wait. It's talking.
My appeal was turned down, and this is it.
Now, let's try a motor response. Lieutenant Mander.
Sir?
Which circuit controls the organism's right extremity?
This one, sir.
Are all circuits properly insulated against electrical surge?
Up to 1 million dynarcs, Commander.
Well, we've never encountered anything higher. That should be safe enough. And here goes. I'll try a simple contraction. It worked! The right limb contracted. Perrick, it worked. We've established control.
You're to be congratulated, Commander.
Thank you. Switch on auditory visual again. Yeah. The creature is still writing.
Actually, I don't mind too much. The doctors have discovered that I have a serious condition of the blood vessels think of you. Think of me. Love, Sam.
The message is concluded. Let's try another motor response. I'm going to manipulate the creature's legs now to make it locomote toward the barred pattern. Ready?
Ready, sir.
It's moving! Excellent, excellent. Herrick, have the crews clean up the remaining circuits. Make absolutely certain that the electrical hazard is reduced to a minimum. I can't afford to lose any more troops. Now, what about the speech code?
Decoding thinks they may break at any moment now.
I'll keep them working. Give the troops extra rations and pay and commend them for a good job. If all goes well, we'll send for colonists within a week.
Exactly 1 week later, Commander Lassen, seated in a compartment that was now fully air-conditioned, silent, and filled with soft Galvaresian music, radioed to the Commissioner of Colonization.
So everything is ready. With the exception of the speech code, we have complete primary control of all circuits. We'll expect first 10,000 colonists as soon as transport can be arranged. Lassen, I'll send that at once. Come in. What is it, Barrack?
I don't know. There are changes in the intercept screens.
What kind of changes?
Well, for one thing, there's a temperature drop in the upper quadrant of the creature. Then it seems to be changing its surroundings.
I'll come out and have a look.
There, you see? There are other macro creatures in the room now. There. One of them has a black robe.
Well, what's so alarming?
The speech pattern of the black-robed creature is unlike anything we've ever heard before.
Turn on auditory intercept. Strange.
Look at the temperature drop up there.
Let me try touching the creature's cranial region. That explains the temperature drop. The massive thread-like growth has been entirely removed.
Look, the black-robed one has moved away. Now another creature approaches.
Our host entity is being seated. Now, bands are being placed on its wrists and legs. That's interesting.
I don't like it.
What are you worried about?
I don't know. It frightens me.
Look. Now a dome-like object is being lowered over the creature's head, a great cupola.
It's cutting out the light.
Turn off the auditory.
I don't want to die, Warder. Not in the electric chair.
I wish we knew the speech code. Well, another few days and we'll have it broken. Then, total victory will be ours. Total victory.
What's happening now, Zering?
I don't know. Everything is quiet. The creature is waiting in the dark for something to happen, apparently. I wonder what.
Fred Collins again. I'll have a word about our cast on X-1 in a moment. You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine. Galaxy Magazine science editor Willie Lay discusses medical problems of space travel in the current issue of Galaxy. Read Willie Lay's article as well as the many thought-provoking stories similar to tonight's tale of fiction based on facts of the future. Galaxy Magazine, on your newsstand today. Tonight, X-1 has brought you Shocktroop, a story from the pages of Galaxy, written by Daniel Gallion and adapted for radio by George Lefferts. Featured in our cast were Bernard Lenrow as Commander Lassen, Edwin Cooper as Perrock, John Thomas as Mandor, Ralph Camargo as Sam, and Roger DeKoven was the narrator. This is Fred Collins speaking. X-1 was directed by George Voutsas and is an NBC Radio Network production.
Walter O'Keefe is your guide to new worlds of nighttime entertainment on Nightline, tonight over most of these NBC radio stations.
For the second time, the Gregory party leaves Los Angeles Harbor on a cruise to the Magic Island. Only a few short months ago, Mrs. Gregory, Captain Tex Bradford, and Jerry Hall sailed from this harbor in search of a mysterious island in the South Pacific, an island on which a little white girl was supposed to be living with a strange colony of people. We know this was true, for Mrs. Gregory found her daughter Joan, now 15 years old, on the weird island where she had spent 14 of her 15 years. 2 boats were lost in attempts to escape from the island. And finally, a stolen submarine made it possible for our friends to reach Los Angeles. As they leave the harbor behind in the inky blackness of the early morning, Joan and her mother are talking in their cabin on the boat.
I did not see much of your beautiful country, Mother.
I know, Joan, dear, and I'm sorry. But Captain Bradford and I agreed that you and Jerry would be much safer with us than if you had remained in Los Angeles.
That is possibly true, and of course I am happy to be with you, Mother. But it all seems so foolish.
Foolish?
Yes.
In what way, Joan?
Anything useless is foolish, is it not?
Yes, but...
And this voyage is quite useless.
How can you say that, Joan? Don't you realize that we're performing a real service to the world by returning to that island and putting those scientists under control?
I realize that such might be the case if you could do it.
We're going to do it.
I am not so sure.
Now, Joan, you've spent nearly all your life on that island, and you're far more impressed with the power of those Euclidean scientists than I am.
Yet you admit that they have advanced to a degree that your world cannot hope to contend with.
Of course, I admit that. But Captain Bradford knows what he's doing every time he starts out to do anything. And while taking over that island may be the biggest job he's ever attempted, we'll come out all right.
I hope so, for your sake.
Joan, dear, you're very depressed. And that's unusual for you.
I am sorry that you should see me so, Mother. On Euclidia, we are taught to display no emotion. That did not seem difficult while I was there. But after a glimpse of your world, I realize that emotions are very necessary things. It is better to feel sorrow than to feel nothing at all.
I think I understand, dear. And one of these days, we'll come back home again and stay there all the rest of our lives.
I hope so.
Oh, boy. I'm sorry. I thought this was my cabin.
That's all right, Jerry. Come on in and talk to us for a while.
I didn't mean to come busting in like that, but Captain Bradford said this was the cabin that he and I were going to use.
Well, that's my fault, Jerry. I thought this one would be more convenient for Joan and me, and I had our things brought in here.
Oh, hello, Joan.
How do you do?
Oh, what's the matter with you?
Not a thing.
Well, you look to me like everything was wrong.
Joan's feeling badly about leaving home so suddenly, Jerry, and I can't say that I blame her. We promised to show her a great many things in our world, and in less than 48 hours after landing in Los Angeles, we're leaving it again.
Yeah, I know how you feel, Joan. I felt sort of funny, too, when I had to run away without saying goodbye to Dad.
You did not see your father?
No.
Jerry, do you mean that you left on this trip without getting your father's permission?
Well, he knew I wanted to come with you, and he didn't say I couldn't. But when I went home the last time to get my clothes, well, I couldn't find him.
I'm very sorry about that, Jerry. You should send him a radio message at least. And if he doesn't want you to go, well, we'll put about and take you back to the harbor at once.
Oh, now, you won't have to do that. Dad knows I'm just as safe here with you as I would be in Hollywood with Euclideans all over the place.
How far have we come from Los Angeles?
Well, the captain said we were just 25 miles out when I left him in the radio room.
We're making good time then.
We sure are. But it's a long way to Magic Island.
Yes, and many things may happen before we arrive there.
Gee whiz, Joan, you give me the willies.
Jerry?
Yes, Mrs. Gregory?
Why don't you take Joan out on deck? She is doing too much thinking about this cruise.
I do not care to go out on deck.
Boy, you're sure good company.
Now, Joan, dear, I want you to go with Jerry. Now I have a number of things to do here, putting the cabin in order, and a turn around the deck will do you both a lot of good. Then we must get some rest.
4 bells. 2 o'clock in the morning. Does that remind you of anything, Mrs. Gregory?
Well, it reminds me that it's long after bedtime.
No, I didn't mean that. Don't you remember the last time we sailed out of the harbor to look for Joan and that island? The ship's clock struck 4 bells as we left the harbor.
Why, that's right, Jerry. And a lot has happened since then.
And much more will happen before we return here.
Oh, stop that crying around, will you? Come on out on deck and we'll look at the dark.
You cannot see the dark.
Oh, maybe not. But you sure can't see anything else when it is dark.
You could see light very easily in the dark.
Now, you two stop arguing and go out.
We'll go out, Mrs. Gregory. But don't make Joan stop arguing. When she argues, I know she's all right. Come on, Joan. We'll look the boat over.
I will not be long, Mother.
Stay as long as you wish. It'll do you good.
Boy, isn't this a swell night, Joan?
It is a very dark night.
Oh, sure, but it makes me feel good to get out in the water and smell the salt air.
I am glad you like it.
Joan Gregory, you listen to me. If you don't snap out of it and hold your chin up, I'm going to quit trying to talk to you at all.
It might be as well, since you say nothing when you speak.
Oh, is that so? All right. Come on, then. We'll walk around the deck like your mother wants us to. But I won't say a word to you. Not a word. Did you hear me? I'm not going to talk to you.
Very well.
Why don't you say something?
I prefer the silence.
All right, all right. You'll get it. Sounds sort of funny when I don't talk, huh?
I could not say. You are always talking.
What's the matter with you? You don't like it when I talk, and you don't like it when I keep still. You don't like it in the cabin, and now you don't like it out here on the deck.
That's you, Jerry. Just started out to find you.
It's me. And Joan.
You two can hear something mighty interesting. Come on the radio cabin.
What is it, Captain Bradford?
We know that girl submarine commander is following us in an Euclidean submarine. I think we're now hearing one of the scientists on the island talking to her by radio.
Gee, let's hurry up and see about it. Come on, Joan.
I think it is very doubtful, Captain.
We ought to pick up the island easy enough if their signal is strong enough to be heard in the submarine.
Oh, sure we could. Is it set on now, Captain?
Right where I heard the signals before.
Well, then let's listen in. Maybe we'll hear them again.
Was it the voice of G-47 you heard, Captain?
No, it didn't sound like him, but the signal was so faint I couldn't be sure.
If it was not G-47, you were not listening to the island.
Hey, he isn't the only scientist who knows how to run that transmission set.
No, but he is the only one who would be issuing instructions under these conditions.
Well, how can you be sure of that, Joe?
The Euclidean submarine which is following us is under orders now. Those orders will not be changed except in an emergency, at which time G-47 would give the orders.
Well, maybe there's an emergency we don't know anything about. Maybe that girl commander's having trouble with the boat.
Might be that.
I think not. Euclidean submarines do not have trouble.
Now, wait a minute, Joan. Before you figure the captain's all wrong, why don't you find out what it is he thought he heard?
Very well.
Well, I know what I heard. That girl submarine commander was talking to one of the Euclideans, and she was being ordered to change her course.
S1 to control. S1 to control.
There she is now.
Quiet, Jerry. Well, Joan?
It did sound like the commander, and she was calling the radio control. That could mean but one thing, the main transmission chamber on Euclidia.
Control. Commander S1 requesting control beams. Commander S1 to base control.
Well, she's not getting any action very fast.
Doesn't that sound as if she's calling the island, Joan?
It does indeed. Her request for a control beam from base control can mean but one thing. She is in difficulty or has unusual news to report.
Why doesn't someone on Euclidia answer?
There may be some reason for the signals going unanswered.
Can you think of any of the reasons?
A sudden change in plans, which will be given to her as soon as they are formulated.
But couldn't they call her and tell her that?
Certainly not.
Funny way these Euclideans have of playing this game. One of their best submarine commanders asking for a radio beam. And they won't even bother to answer a signal. They make up their minds what to tell her.
S1 to Gregory Boat. S1 to Gregory Boat.
Hey, Tex, she's calling us.
Let's find out what she wants.
Commander S1 calling Gregory Boat. You will answer at once.
Yeah, she's calling us all right.
Steady, Jerry. This may be a trick of some kind. What do you think, Joan?
This is most unusual, Captain. We know that she is following us in a Euclidean submarine, but we also know that she has orders to follow us to Euclidia, and do nothing to hinder our progress toward the island.
Then you don't know any more about what she might have in mind than we do.
I have no way of determining that.
Well, then let's take a chance and answer her. She might have.
S1, calling the Gregory boat. You will answer immediately. Your safety depends on answer. S1 to Gregory boat. Waiting.
Our safety depends on it, she said.
Well, maybe we're in some danger that she knows about.
It might be advisable to answer.
Well, I'll take your advice, Joan, but it sounds like a trick to me. Captain Bradford on Gregory boat. Calling Commander S1. Bradford to S1. Go ahead, S1. Go ahead.
You are very slow in your response, Captain Bradford. I have information for you. Listen carefully. Do you hear me clearly? Answer.
Go ahead, S1. We are getting you perfectly. Go ahead.
You are well aware of my mission. My submarine is following you at a distance of 100 yards and at a depth of 4 fathoms.
Boy, she's close to us.
My orders are to see that you reach the island in safety. That safety is threatened. Thales on board. Personal revenge. Thales on board. Revenge. Search.
Gee, she faded out. She started to tell us something about Thales being on board a boat, and that was the end of it.
Wait for a minute. Commander S1, Bradford to S1. You faded out. Repeat your message. Bradford calling S1. Can you hear me, S1? Well, whatever happened, it sure silenced her radio set. Not a sound from her now.
Apparently, Thales is planning to take matters into his own hands. He is seeking revenge.
Revenge for what?
Did the captain not outwit him in Los Angeles?
Well, I guess I did at that. And I managed to record his voice, but how could he know that?
Well, how could a lot of things happen? This is getting more mixed up all the time. Now Thales is on board that submarine with a girl planning to do something to our boat, and she tried to warn us.
Looks that way, Jerry, and from the way her message was faded out, I'd say Thales had taken command of the sub away from her.
Yeah, she said Thales on board, and she didn't sound like she wanted him there either.
Captain Jerry!
Yes, what is it?
Her warning meant more than that. How stupid of me not to realize instantly just how great our danger was. When she said Thales on board, she meant on board this boat.
Thales is on our boat?
Precisely. Thales is on this boat.
During the time when Mrs. Gregory and her friends were prisoners on the island of Euclidia, they were helped more than once by the beautiful young girl who commands one of the Euclidean submarines. Now it seems that the girl is helping them again. As the boat carrying the Gregory party leaves Los Angeles Harbor and strikes out into the open sea, Captain Bradford receives a strange message on the boat's radio. Jerry Hall and Joan Gregory join the captain in the radio room. They hear the voice of the girl submarine commander warning them that Thales, the Euclidean electrical wizard, is on board their boat. The captain begins a search of the boat and sends Jerry to remain with Mrs. Gregory and Joan.
But, Joan, dear, I can't believe it.
I can't figure out how that guy could be on board, but the girl submarine commander seemed to be pretty sure he was.
Where could he be hiding?
The captain is now making a thorough search of the boat.
Well, this isn't a very large boat, Joan. It doesn't sound possible.
I think, Mother, we will find that the submarine commander was correct.
Those Euclideans don't make many mistakes, but there isn't much room on here for anybody to hide.
What are the accommodations?
This cabin of ours, Joan, and we're sure no one is hiding in here.
Granted.
And then the cabin that Jerry and the captain are sharing.
Well, there's nobody under my bed. I looked.
That leaves only the radio cabin, which is out of the question as a hiding place, and the small cabin shared by the engineer and cook.
That is our entire personnel?
Yep, that's all of them. The cook and the engineer stand watches at the wheel in the daytime, and Tex and I take turns at night.
So you see, Joan, there's a crew of that size and barely room to accommodate all of us. The chances of some man being a stowaway are very remote.
Yes, it would be very difficult to hide on this small boat.
And there's mighty little space down below. We're carrying extra fuel drums in every place we could squeeze one in. Johnson sure knows how to load a boat.
Of course, we're short-handed, but no one knows what conditions we'll have to face at the island. And we must have room for our old boat captain and engineer when we're able to rescue them.
Golly, that's right. McLeod, the Scotch engineer, and the old Yepanope skipper are still prisoners on the island.
They will not be harmed, I think.
Probably not, but they must be very worried about what's going to happen to them and what's happened to us.
Well, at the speed this boat's making, it won't be many days until they find out.
Jerry, do not allow yourself to be carried away by a false feeling of security. That girl commander said Thales was on this boat. Therefore, Thales is on this boat.
Well, he isn't here if he can't be found, Joan.
I would not depend on that, Mother.
Now, look, Joan, you're getting scared over nothing.
Well, we'll soon know what Tex has learned. Come in.
What'd you find out, Captain?
Come in and tell us, Tex.
I didn't find out a thing. I've been all over this boat with a fine-tooth comb. There's no one on board but ourselves, the engineer, and the cook.
Now, what did I tell you, Joan?
Are you quite sure there is no room for a stowaway?
It's out of the question. Remember, this boat is a whole lot too small for the trip we're making. Every spare inch of space is crowded with fuel drums. There isn't a place for a cat to hide and stay hidden.
I can believe that, Tex. And how in the world you got as much stuff on board as you did is beyond me. But if this Euclidean is not on board, what did that girl's message mean?
Oh, I think it was just done to scare us.
And you still insist that Commander is friendly toward us?
Well, I don't know.
No, I think her advice was honest enough. She may have known that Thales intended to stow away with us. We didn't get on, so we can quit worrying about it.
Captain Bradford.
Yes, Joan?
Who are the other two members of the crew?
Oh, Joan, your mother told you, the engineer and the cook.
Yes, but I mean, who are they? How long have you known them?
Why, Joan, you don't suggest
Yes, Mother. That is just what I do suggest.
I'm afraid you're way off on that, Joan. Johnson and I have known both men for years.
Golly whiskers, Joan. You don't expect to find one of those Euclidean scientists working for your mother, do you?
Is it so impossible? Mother and the captain have been associated with many men of science.
You're all wrong, Joan. But I'll get them in here. Let you question them if you want to.
I think it advisable.
Joan, you'll be very careful, won't you?
Careful?
Yes, careful about your questions. If either of these men felt they were suspected of anything, it would be unfair to them, and they wouldn't be inclined to give us their best efforts during the cruise.
I understand, Mother. I will be careful.
All right. Jerry.
Yes, sir?
Go out and send the cook in here, will you? Just tell him I'd like to see him for a moment.
Okay, I'll get him.
And you might stay there with the engineer until the cook comes back and try and act innocent.
Oh, I got it, sir. I'll send the cook right in.
Now, Joan, I'd like to add just a word of warning to what your mother told you. Both of these men have worked for us and with us for years. And they're going to be mighty sensitive about any questioning as to their loyalty to us.
I understand perfectly, Captain. Now, this cook who is coming in first, who is he?
He's Chinese, named Jim Lowe. We picked him up 9 years ago when your mother and I went to the forbidden city of Tibet. He's high caste, fine family, well educated, but enjoys speaking pidgin English just to make it hard to understand him.
But you have known him for 9 years?
Yes, Joan. He's been with us all of that time. When he was not on a trip with the captain and me, he was with Johnson in Los Angeles.
If you please, let me do all of this.
Very well, Joan. Come in.
You want to see me, Captain?
No, Jim. My daughter Joan wanted to see you.
I see daughter Joan. Daughter Joan, see me. What does she want?
A long time ago, when I was a little girl, a Chinese gentleman lived on the island where my home was. I wanted to know if you could be the same. You look very like the man I know.
All Chinese look alike to blind American who can see only color of skin. I have never lived on island.
And you have been with my mother and the captain a long time?
Long time. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. But never see you. Never live on island. You got Chinese gentleman friend. He is very lucky to have friends such pretty little girls. I do not have such luck.
Thank you for coming. You're very kind.
That's all, Jim. Here we go now.
And will you please ask the engineer to come in?
Is engineer also long time no see gentleman friend who live on island?
Oh, no, Jim. The engineer is unmistakably a Swedish gentleman.
Maybe Swedish. Very funny talk. Sometime I teach him speak English like Jim Lowe. I got him. Send him in.
Well, Joan?
No, he was not Thales.
Did you really think he might be?
I think it would be wise to suspect everyone.
But if Thales had been Chinese, wouldn't you have known that a long time ago?
No. Everyone on Euclidia wears the dark glasses which control the ultraviolet light. The color of the skin or of the hair, the sound of the voice, all those might be a part of a disguise. Only the eyes remain the same. On rare occasions, I have seen a few of the Euclideans without their glasses. I will know Thales by his eyes.
Well, you won't find out much from our engineer. He's a Swede, and a very broad one at that. But he's been around us too long to have any connection with that island.
You are probably right, Captain. Nevertheless, it will be interesting to observe him closely.
I was wondering, Joan, if it might not be better to let the captain question Mr. Peterson. He can ask him a lot of routine questions about the boat, and that will give you an opportunity to study him.
Good idea.
We will try it that way.
Come in. Right on in, Pete.
Oh, I am in now.
Good evening, Mr. Peterson.
Good morning, Mrs. Gregory. Isn't anybody ever going to go to sleep on this trip?
We've had a lot to talk about, Pete, after rushing out of the harbor the way we did. That's the reason I wanted to see you. You've checked everything on board?
Oh, yeah, sure. And I don't find this hiding parlor you was looking for.
Well, I'm afraid we'll have to give that up as a bad job. We had a notion that someone we didn't want was riding with us. But we'll take it for granted he didn't get aboard. Now, what I want to know is, how did your stores check?
Oh, we got stores enough to go to Australia.
Well, we've only got to go about half that far. Are you sure all the fuel drums have fuel in them?
Oh, yeah, sure, I'm sure. What else you put in oil drums except oil?
Well, we did get pretty badly fooled by one once, Pete, when we wanted oil and got turpentine. But if you say this is oil, it's oil.
Everything is just what it's supposed to be.
And there isn't any room anywhere on the boat for a man to be hiding?
There isn't room enough on this boat for the ones that's supposed to be going along. A stowaway would have to be hanging on the anchor.
Well, that seems to be that. Now, can either of you think of any other precautions we might ask Pete to take?
I'm sure I can't. Perhaps Joan. Oh, Mr. Peterson, this is my daughter, Joan.
How do you do?
Hello to you, too.
Mr. Peterson, are you sure the cook is capable of handling this boat while you are not on watch?
Jim Lowe can handle anything, Miss Joan. Was there anything else, Captain?
No, guess that's all of it, Pete. You and Jim figure out the watches, and Jerry and I'll split with you.
Oh, yeah, sure. We figure him out.
Well, Joan, you got fooled, didn't you?
I am not sure.
Huh? Why not?
Joan, dear, surely you don't believe that...
I do not know what I believe at this moment.
Now, look here, Joan. I've known that Swede a long time. While he's a swell marine engineer on small boats, that's all he is.
Well, you're all excited over nothing, Joan.
Possibly.
Couldn't you see that Peterson is exactly what he claims to be?
I was interested in his eyes. And he wears such heavy glasses that it is impossible to tell what his eyes look like. My opinion is that he knew what I would be looking for. Did you not notice that he stared at me, even though he was addressing others in this cabin?
I noticed that, but I thought it was just because he hadn't seen you before.
I should think he'd try to avoid looking at you if he was afraid you'd recognize him.
No. It is impossible to study the eyes through glasses such as he wears. But if he had turned his head, I might have seen his eyes behind the glasses from the side.
But, Joan, your mother and the captain have known Peterson for a long time.
Yes, Jerry. We've had him with us on several of our cruises.
Do you know what his activities were between those cruises?
No, not exactly. But he's one of the most popular marine engineers out of San Pedro. I suppose he's busy when he isn't working for us.
Joan, would it be possible for one of the Euclidean scientists, Thales, for instance, to maintain a regular existence here and visit the island only on occasion?
Oh, to be sure it would. One of the fast Euclidean planes could easily take him to the island during the darkness of one night.
From here to the Magic Island in one night?
Naturally. The rocket-propelled planes will attain a speed of 1,000 miles per hour.
Only a little over 4 hours from here. Think of that.
Yes, I'm beginning to think Joan may be right.
You think Peterson may be Thales?
Well, he did a pretty good job of being a blind man on Hollywood Boulevard.
Why, that's a terrible thought, Tex.
Well, it's not very pleasant to think we've got one of the Euclideans as a member of the crew.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, Captain. That girl submarine commander said Thales was after revenge. And maybe we're better off if we can keep him right here, where we can watch him all the time.
That is logical, except for the fact that one of us would have to remain awake to watch him all the time.
Well, there are 4 of us. We should be able to do that.
Well, you're not going to. You and Joan are to keep yourselves locked up in this cabin for the rest of the trip. Jerry and I will bring your food to you. And Jerry and I will take turns staying awake to watch Peterson.
What do you think he'll try to do?
If revenge is his object, he will try to prevent our reaching Euclidia.
That's a pleasant prospect. The engineer on your boat trying to keep you from getting to the point you hired him to take you to.
If Thales has his way, we will never reach Euclidia.
Many of the colonies of this planet here have been founded and built by misfits, rebels, rejects from their own societies, the transported criminals. And they've made good men in those new frontiers. But not all men are good men in a bad spot. When you open a new area, whether it's a new planet or a new continent, it takes tough men, men of strength and determination. Among the men of that type in any culture, many are rebels. They turn up in the criminal courts. Such men make fine colonists. But not all rebels are colonists, builders. A lot of them are just plain, lazy, sick-souled criminals. Now, Mars is a cold planet. It's nearly 50 million miles further from the sun than Earth. It gets proportionately less heat. Its air is thin and low in oxygen. Its water is scarce. It's not an easy place to live. Some men will live in unpleasant places by choice because they have this pioneering spirit or a sense of adventure. Other men have very little choice at all. When Robert Black was found guilty of the crime of armed robbery, the court gave him the usual choice: 15 years in prison or a permanent exile to Mars. The judge asked him which he preferred.
I'll take Mars.
It was so ordered.
All right, Harrington, I'll see Robert Black now. Mr. Jenner. What is it this time, Black? In trouble with the mine foreman again? No, not this time, but if he keeps pushing me... Don't start that again. I'm sorry, Mr. Jenner. Now, look, Black, I'm supposed to be the colonial administrator here. Remember, I have work to do. Now, what's on your mind? I want to go home. Now, you're certainly welcome to. You know where your dormitory room is. Go ahead and go home. Why bother me with it? Oh, you know what I mean. I want to go back to Earth. Earth? That's impossible, and you know it. You made your choice 10 years ago. You wanted to be a free colonist instead of a prisoner, and you got what you wanted. Free? You call this free? I work my hands off clear to the elbows in those freezing coal mines. I work 8-10 hours a day for what? For a few lousy bucks? And where can I spend it? No place. I'd rather be in jail. No place to spend it. You seem to do a pretty good job getting rid of your paycheck in the bars in Marsport. Why not? What else is there to do with it? Black. A lot of men in your position have done something with it. They saved their money and bought a little pressure dome of their own. They got married and had kids and tried to make Marsport into a real city instead of drinking up every cent they've made. Me get married? It's a laugh. None of the dames on Mars have anything to do with it, Con. Oh, you mean they won't have anything to do with you personally, don't you? Other convicts have done something with themselves here, but you haven't, and you never will. You know why? You tell me. Because you can't change your way of thinking. You had to come here because you couldn't keep out of trouble, and you've made trouble for yourself and everybody else since you came. Drunken brawls, arguments with your foreman, everything. Someday you'll get in a real jam. Now, look, Mr. Jenner, I try to get along. Honest, I do. I just don't like being pushed, that's all. Oh, sure. Everybody picks on you. Mr. Jenner, I just can't take Mars anymore. Look at my fingers. They're always cold. My feet are always cold. I haven't been warm for 1 minute in the last 10 years. They can't heat up the mines even because the stinking little planet's cold all the way through. Well, what do you want me to do? Move Mars closer to the sun just to please you? Look, Mr. Jenner, please, I'm serious. Send me back to Earth. I'll spend the rest of my time in prison there. I won't care just so long as it's on Earth where it's warm. I just can't do that, Black. You had your chance to make your choice 10 years ago and you made it. Neither one of us can change that. Yeah, but it ain't fair. I have just 5 more years to do time if I'd taken a 15-year sentence, then I'd be free. The way it is, I gotta spend the rest of my life here. That ain't fair. I couldn't send you back if I wanted to. I'm just a civil service appointee, not a judge of the court. If you want to spend 5 years in jail, I can accommodate you right here on Mars. But I can't send you back to Earth. And that's final. But Mr. Jenner. That's all, Black. Unless you have something else to see me about, please go. I'm busy. Look. All right, if that's the way you're going to be. That's the way I'm going to be. Goodbye, Black. Goodbye.
There are many men who can't take no for an answer. But they don't all have that characteristic in quite the same way. The pioneer, the scientist, these are men who can't take no for an answer, and they plow their way through to an answer that works. And But not all men are of that type.
Bartender, give me another beer. Woman always riding me. Jenner, that big shot. White guy. Sure, he don't worry about somebody freezing to death on his ball of ice. Not him. He can go home when he wants to. Who's this sharpie?
Hey, give me a glass of beer, bartender.
Space Service uniform. Wonder what he's doing in a cheap joint like this. Those guys usually have money to burn.
Boy, this beer's sure flat.
It's this low pressure does it. Takes all the fizz out of it.
Oh, is that so? Well, at least it's cold enough, huh?
Oh, yeah. Everything's cold on Mars. You, been in the service long?
3 years. This is my first Mars run. Thought I'd take a look at Marsport while they service my ship.
Your ship? You don't hardly look old enough to be the skipper of a spaceship.
That's what they all tell me. I may not be as old as you, old-timer, but it's still my ship.
Old-timer, right away he starts riding the guy right off the bat. Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, a young fellow like you with a crew of 10 under you.
Oh, no. It's just the two of us, me and my navigator. We're giving the Skyfire its test run.
Oh, how can two men handle a spaceship?
Hey, look, don't you watch the newscast, mister? Skyfire is one of the new models with the Mark-Hein drive. Fastest spaceship ever built.
I guess I'm a little behind the times. New drive, huh?
That's right. Hottest little thing in the sky.
Must not be as complicated as the old jobs if just two guys can run it.
Well, I hate to admit it, but it doesn't take much training to run one. A baby could do it.
Oh, man. Things sure have changed since the last time I was on a ship.
Is that so? Now, how long has that been?
10 years. Been here on Mars for 10 years.
Yeah? Are you, are you...
Convict? Oh, no. I come here of my own free will. Got the old pioneer blood in me, I guess. But, we don't usually talk about it very much. You know, out here, one fellow's as good as the next one if he behaves himself.
Yeah, that's the way it should be, I guess. 10 years. Well, I guess you've been here long enough to get used to this light gravity, huh?
Sure. Don't even notice it anymore.
The trouble with being in the space service is that you never get used to any particular gravity. It might be 10 G's 1 minute and 0 the next. But you even get used to that eventually.
I imagine you would. My name's Bob Black.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you. Mine's Carson, Peter Carson.
Hi. You going to be here long?
Oh, a couple of days. Skyfire will be ready to go in an hour or so, but my navigator's in the hospital for checkup. Twisted his ankle getting off the ship.
Oh, that's too bad. Hey, can I buy you a beer? We're both in.
Sure, thanks.
Bartender, 2 more here.
Say, if you've been here 10 years, you must know Marsport pretty well, huh?
Yeah, pretty well.
Well, look, there must be livelier places than this. Maybe you could tell me where to find a little excitement.
Sure. I know a couple of places. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll take you there myself.
Good enough. Come on, let's get out of here. We got far to go?
No, about a quarter of a mile.
Let's take a cab, then. I don't feel like walking that far in this cold wearing an oxygen mask.
Sure, we can pick one up.
Oh, my head.
Yeah, kid, you really hung one on last night.
Oh. Hey, where am I?
Open your eyes and look around. This ain't the good ship Lollipop.
Hey, we're aboard the Skyfire. Hey, you're not supposed to be here. How'd you get through the guards at the gate?
Well, it wasn't easy, pal, but you helped. Now, you just lean back and relax. You're in no condition to try anything funny.
Hey, that's my gun you got there.
That's right. Earth. Beautiful, green, sunshiny, warm Earth. I'm sick and tired of this freezing hellhole. You're going to take me home, buddy.
Colonial Administration, Jenner speaking.
Jenner, this is Colonel O'Neill, Space Service.
Oh, yes, Colonel. What can I do for you?
Well, something pretty serious has come up. Would you check your records on a man named Black? Robert Black?
Well, I might not need to check them. I know the man personally. What's he done now?
Well, I take it then you wouldn't be surprised if you were in trouble.
Not in the least. Why? What happened?
One of our spaceships was stolen early this morning.
What? Well, how could a man steal a spaceship?
A man couldn't steal one of the old kind, but this is a radically new type, small, compact, and easy to operate. Be almost as easy as stealing a car.
And you think Black had something to do with it?
Looks like it. He was the last one seen with Peter Carson, and his fingerprints are on the ladder of the takeoff pit. We're questioning the guards now, but it looks as if Carson and Black took off in the Skyfire together.
Incredible. Who is Peter Carson, by the way?
One of our young trainees. Pretty bright, but just a kid.
Oh?
Got a funny streak in him, though. The psychologist should never have passed it. Still, I never thought he'd do anything like this.
What do you mean? What's wrong with him?
Well, he's a bit of a braggart. Likes to claim he's something he's not. I'm no psychologist, but I'd say that he's a compulsive liar.
And the two of them stole the spaceship. Well, they ought to make a fine pair.
Now, tell me, can Black navigate and operate a spaceship?
Of course not. The only trip he ever made was 10 years ago when the court sent him here. He doesn't know how to operate a spaceship.
Then they'll make a fine pair, all right.
How's that?
Neither does Carson.
A criminal in jail is more or less forced to admit that he did make some kind of a mistake. Curious thing is, if you ask such a man what mistake he made, he's apt to say something like, well, you see, I didn't see that cop that was hiding down there in the doorway. He views it as a mistake in procedure. He doesn't recognize that he was fundamentally wrong in trying to make a living that way.
Sure outsmarted old smart boy Jenner. Goes to show you, kid, you can't keep a good man down.
Yeah, sure.
2 hours, I'll be back home again. Back to nice, warm, comfortable Earth.
Black, I'm scared we're going to crash.
Shut up. You still trying to give me that phony line?
I tell you, Black, I don't know anything about spaceships.
Oh, give me that. We took off okay, didn't we? We're on course, aren't we? And you did all the plotting and the piloting, didn't you?
I swear all I know is what I read in the textbook at the academy. And I watched the captain take the ship to Mars. Any fool can take a spaceship off the ground, but it takes a trained pilot to land
You've
one.
been giving me that stuff ever since we started. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't believe it.
Please, Black, before it's too late, let me get on that radio and call the space service. They can get a ship up here.
Shut up. That's what you like, ain't it? Get the space service up here? I see through your dodge, and I'm not buying it. I don't mind getting caught on Earth because they can't deport me twice. They'll put me in a nice warm cell. But they're not going to nab me up here and send me back to that frigid hell I just left, you understand?
Listen.
Shut up, I said. I read over the pilot's manual. I read over the specifications on this ship. A baby could handle it. Remember? That's what you said. A baby could handle it. And you're right. I can land this thing myself. So don't give me any hooey about you not knowing how.
Please, Black, we haven't got much time.
Shut up.
Please, Black, let me use the radio.
Shut up. All right, now that's better. Now let's get ready to land this crate. We got less than 2 hours.
Gun or no gun, I gotta do something.
Sit back down and stay away from that radio.
I'm gonna call him. You can't stop
Get
me.
away, I told you. Stupid, crazy little punk. Now I gotta take the ship down by myself. Everything's okay. Just gotta be calm, that's all. Check the time. That's good. Now, according to the radar map, I'm over Wyoming. No town around. Right smack in the middle of nowhere. Good. That means no cops. Check the time again. Don't rush it now. Check the instruments. All right. Velocity, direction. All okay. Time 10 seconds. Back to Earth. Boy, nice, warm, green Earth. No more cold red sand. It's time. 5 seconds to cut off. 3, 2, 1. Cut! Hey, we're still falling. I guess I'm okay. Ship didn't fall more than 10 or 15 feet. What's that? Radiation detector. Fall must have broken the shielding around the atomic engine. I gotta get out of here. Gotta get out of that airlock and run. This radiation could kill me. It'll kill me if I don't get out. Oh, no. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here or I'll die. I gotta get out and see that good old warm old Earth. I gotta get out.
Colonial Administration, Jenner speaking.
This is Colonel O'Neill, Mr. Jenner. I just got word from Earth that our 2 runaways have been found.
You mean they actually made it to Earth?
Well, it wasn't a good landing. The engines were cut off too soon, and the sky fire dropped about 15 feet. But that ship's pretty nearly foolproof.
What happened?
Our man Carson has a bullet in him. Doctor says in bad shape, but he'll live.
And Black?
Funny thing. Sat the ship down in the desolate part of Wyoming. The fall shorted the radiation detector, and evidently Black thought the ship was full of radiation. He got out fast, started running, and just kept running until he dropped.
You mean he got away?
Well, he didn't get far. It's January, you know, wintertime in Wyoming. He ran into the teeth of a howling blizzard at sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah?
Froze to death before they could reach him.
characteristic of a man who wants to do things the quick, easy way, that he doesn't like to take the time and trouble to look up the data as to what's going to happen when he gets there. It would have been easy enough for Black to check and find out it was winter on Earth. But you see, Mars doesn't have the same seasons Earth does. Mars' year is about twice as long as ours. I guess Black had sort of lost track of what it was like in Wyoming in January.
Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman, who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
And now to our story, which continues today in the office of Perry White, editor of the Daily Planet. A long-distance phone call has come through from the naval base. Editor White listens attentively as Lois Lane, star girl reporter of the paper, stands anxiously at his desk.
Yes, go on. Are you sure? I see. All right, Evans, thanks a lot. And call me if anything breaks. Right. Well, that was Evans of Consolidated News. He's at the naval base. Doesn't look too good, Lois.
What do you mean, Mr. White?
Well, here's the story. The Navy sent that new Grayson-designed submarine out on a test dive early today. It went down to 350 feet and then got stuck.
Stuck? You mean on the bottom?
No, it was diving at 2,000 feet of water. Well, anyway, it was stuck at 350. Couldn't go forward, backward, up, or down.
But, Chief, that's impossible.
Well, you haven't heard anything yet. A second submarine with the head of the naval base, Commander Leeds, on board, went down to investigate. Evans just told me a report came in that the second sub just sent up a disaster buoy with a note in it saying that they were stuck at 250 feet.
I don't understand it.
Well, neither does anyone at the naval base. No matter what happens, this will make the biggest sea story of the year.
Well, then why hasn't Clark Kent phoned it in? He's covering it, isn't he?
For a very good reason, Lois. He's on that second submarine.
What?
That's right. Evans said Kent got special permission to make the dive.
You mean Clark's stuck down there at 250 feet?
That's what I mean. You can learn something about reporting from this, Lois. Get your story no matter where you have to go to get it. That boy has courage.
Courage? Clark Kent has courage? Why, he's as meek as a lamb and afraid of his shadow.
Don't you believe it. Perry White talking. Yes? Oh, they are. Good. Yes, I'll be there. Thanks. That was Evans again. They're sending divers down to attach cables to the submarine Kent is on in an attempt to raise it. I'm driving down to the naval base. It's only 100 miles from here, and I can make it in 2 hours. Want to come along?
Sure.
Okay, grab a hat and meet me at the elevator. Make it fast.
On the way.
Give me the press room. O'Neill, Perry White. Hold the 7-star final till you hear from me. That's right. I'll call you before 7.
I think we're on the wrong road, Mr. White. The last sign I saw said 20 miles to the naval base, and we've been driving almost an hour since we passed it. Hadn't we better ask someone?
Ask someone? Now, where in the name of heaven are you going to find anyone to ask? This looks like no man's land.
Well, there's a fork in the road up ahead.
Yeah, well, I'll go left, and that'll head us toward the ocean.
Maybe we better go back to that sign.
I got a hunch we're on the right road now. There, smell the salt air? That means we're near water.
Oh, I hope we're near something. What's that red light?
I don't know. Good grief. It's a dead-end sign. This is as far as the road goes. You see? I told you we were near water. There's the beach and the ocean.
But no naval base. Now what do we do?
Turn back, I guess.
Wait a minute. Isn't that a house up on the hill there? Can't quite make it out in the darkness.
Looks like a house. Yes, it is. No lights and probably deserted.
You can't tell. Some of these big summer houses look weather-beaten.
Okay, might as well.
You may be right about it being deserted. Not a sign of life.
Everything's overgrown, and the windows are boarded up.
Oh, we're just wasting time, Lois. We might just as well start back.
We're almost up the hill now, and there's just a slim chance that...
What's the matter?
Listen. Don't you hear the hum of a motor?
So what? Probably a fishing boat.
No, it's not a boat motor. Too powerful, like a big electric motor or a dynamo.
Oh, you're imagining things.
No, I'm not. Come on, let's get closer to the house.
Don't move, either of you. I have you covered. What's this? Who are you? Quiet. I'm standing directly in front of you, but you cannot see me because of the darkness. My finger is on the trigger of a revolver. I've warned you that if you make one move that I don't like, I will shoot you down like dogs. You understand? Yes. Yes, we understand. Good. Now hold out your hand, palms up. Oh. All right, Hans, put on the bracelet. Gentlemen. What is the meaning of this? I demand an explanation. You will get all the explanation that's coming to you. Lead them into the house with a flashlight, Hans. Yeah. But remember, I am following close behind you. Be careful. Go ahead. You pay for this. I'll have the police down on you so fast.
Please, Mr. White, don't lose your head.
The young lady gives you good advice. Never mind any advice. Open the door, Hans. Step inside, both of you. And what if I refuse? You might get a bullet through the back of your head.
Mr. White, please do as he says.
Close the door, Hans. Lock it. Now we will turn on a light and see what we have here. Ah, that's better. Well, a very pretty girl and an old man.
Don't you call me an old man. You put that gun down and I'll show you how old I am.
This is not a test of physical strength, my friend. What is your name, young lady?
Lois Lane.
Yours?
It's none of your business. But I'm Perry White, editor of the most powerful newspaper in the state, the Daily Planet.
Oh, you are the editor of the Daily Planet. Ah, how interesting.
We were on our way to the naval base and took the wrong road.
What do you take me for, a fool? Jawohl.
Doctor.
Nun, was ist denn?
Wir sind bereit, den zweiten hineinzubringen. Sollen wir anfangen?
Sofort. Now, Mr. White, you must have realized the danger of coming here as you did.
But I tell you, we were lost.
Quiet.
And we
Naturally, neither of you can leave this house alive. There's too much at stake. For the time being, however, you will remain where you are, in this room. Very shortly, you will be joined by an employee of yours.
What are you talking about?
Within less than an hour, you will be joined by a man whom you both must know. A man named Clark Kent.
Trapped in the deserted house high on a cliff overlooking the sea, Lois and Perry White stare at their captor in blank amazement as the vibrant hum of the mysterious motor builds to a frightening pitch. Meanwhile, back on the rescue submarine, suspended 250 feet below the surface, we find Clark Kent and Commander Leeds standing at the escape hatch.
Ted, it would be suicide to go out that hatch now. The water pressure at this depth would crush you flat.
I'm willing to take a chance, Commander. I know I can make it.
Don't be a fool. They'll have divers down here before morning. We can hold out.
It'll be too late then. You remember the last word we got from Captain Denning on Grayson's new submarine? That it was being dragged? Well, that may happen to us at any moment. What good will divers do then?
Oh, I can't speak anymore. I don't know.
Commander, there's something behind all this. Something sinister. No natural hazard could trap two submarines at different water levels and prevent them from moving in any direction.
What do you think it is? What do you think stopped the Grayson sub at 350 feet and this one at 250? What could it be?
I don't know. But there's only one way to find out. Through that escape hatch. Please let me try it.
No. No, I can't. We'll be sending a man to his death. I can't do it, I tell you.
Now look, Commander. You and I are alone in the stern compartment of this submarine. The bulkhead door is closed. None of your crew can hear what's going on.
What's that got to do with your going out the escape hatch?
Simply this. I may have to take desperate measures, Commander.
What do you mean?
I may have to force you to let me use the hatch. I don't want to resort to anything so drastic, but... Oh, no, Commander, stay away from that door.
Get you out of your mind. Stand back. I'm ordering you to stand back.
I'm sorry I have to disobey, but this is an emergency. I'll accept full responsibility and suffer whatever consequences there are. Now, which way will it be? With your help or without?
Kent, for the love of... Handle it.
Lock the door. Please. Tell him you'll be out shortly.
Commander Lee.
Please, Commander. Do as I tell you, please.
I'll be out shortly. Very good, sir.
Thank you. Now, what's your decision, Commander?
You win, Kent. You're a young fool, but I admire your courage. Go ahead.
Thank you, Commander. And now, I want your word as an officer and a gentleman that you'll make no attempt to stop me.
You have my word.
Good. How does the escape hatch work?
It's a steel cylinder running through the stern of the submarine.
Yes?
There are two circular doors. That one you see ahead of you, and one on the outside of the hull.
I see.
You enter the cylinder, and I close the inside door. I then force the hull door open with compressed air, and
I'm out.
Yes, you're out.
All right, let's go.
Now, wait a minute. In that starboard compartment, you'll find a Munson lung.
I won't need it, Commander.
Kent, it's the one chance in a million you've got. How else can you breathe going up through 250 feet of water?
Okay.
Sit there. Yes. It fits over your mouth and nose.
Huh?
Be sure to turn the oxygen valve the moment you get into the escape hatch. Put the lung on now. You can keep the mouthpiece up until you're ready.
I don't suppose I look very pretty in it.
Don't joke, Kent. Please don't joke.
Well, I'm all set. Open the hatch. Now, I climb in there. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, here goes. Goodbye, Commander. See you soon.
Goodbye, Kent. And good luck. May the Lord forgive thee.
Unaware that Clark Kent is in reality Superman, Commander Lee stands at the escape hatch as the air pressure builds up and opens the hatch to the sea, certain that he has sent a man to his death. What will Superman find in the darkness of the ocean depths? What is the mystery of the disabled submarines? And, two, what is the mystery of the deserted house where Lois and Perry White are held captive?
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine. Presenting the transcription feature, Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman, strange visitor from the planet Krypton, who came to Earth with powers and abilities far beyond those of mortal men. Superman who can leap tall buildings at a single bound, race a speeding bullet to its target, bend steel in his bare hands, and who, disguised as Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter for a great metropolitan newspaper, fights a never-ending battle for truth and justice.
And now to our story. Trapped in a mysteriously disabled submarine 250 feet below the surface of the water, Clark Kent, against the orders and better judgment of the commander, has gone through the sub's emergency escape hatch to investigate the reason for the submarine being held motionless at this great depth. Unaware that Kent is Superman, the commander is certain he has gone to his death, crushed beyond recognition by the pressure of the water. 5 minutes have passed since Kent entered the escape hatch. Commander Leeds and his first officer are standing at the submarine's control panel. The older man's lined face is pale, and his hand shakes as he passes it across his forehead.
I'm a murderer, Evan. Nothing but a murderer.
You mustn't feel that way, Commander Leeds. You say he insisted, and even went as far as to threaten him.
I know, but that's no excuse. What made me do it? Why did I agree to help him commit suicide? Why?
Your life was at stake. That's reason enough. And he was probably insane with fear. I've seen people who thought they were doomed lose their minds.
No, he was as sane as you are, Evans. The last thing he said before I closed the escape hatch was goodbye, see you soon. He joked about wearing a Munson lung. Said he didn't look very pretty with it on. Evans, I took his life. I killed him as surely as if I'd sent a bullet to his heart. His blood is on my hands.
There's that strange scraping on the hull again, Commander. Seems to be louder now.
His blood is on my hands, Evans.
Commander, something's happening. Look at the depth gauge. We're going up.
What?
Look. 230. 220.
Yes.
210. We're rising.
Start the motors. Hurry.
Engine room. Full speed ahead. Diving officer. Surface at once.
Evans, it's true. We're free.
190. 180.
It's a miracle. A miracle.
As the submarine planes swiftly toward the surface and freedom, a strange scene is being enacted in a seemingly deserted house high on a cliff overlooking the ocean. With the almost eerie hum of what sounds like a huge dynamo in the background, Lois Lane and Perry White, handcuffed and helpless, are being held captive in a ground floor room. Their captor, a tall, well-groomed foreigner with close-cropped hair, sits opposite them. He glances at his watch, looks up, and smiles faintly.
I see you are getting impatient, Herr White. You will not have long to wait. Is there anything I can get for you, Miss Lane? A glass of wine, perhaps?
No, thank you.
All I want to know is, when does this farce end? When do you get tired of playing games?
It is hardly a game, Herr White. No game has stakes so high.
Who are you, anyway?
What difference does it make?
You know what you sound like to me. One of those dirty...
Be careful, Herr White. I do not take insults lightly.
Oh, please, Mr. White, he's dangerous.
Miss Lane is quite correct. I am dangerous because I am involved in dangerous business. As a matter of fact, I can see no reason for not introducing myself to you. You will never be able to tell anyone in this world that you have met me. My name is Dr. Deutsch.
I thought so.
What did you think?
He didn't think anything, did you, Mr. White?
You have heard of me, Herr White?
No, but I know your kind, Deutsch. And if you think you can get anywhere in this country, you're crazy. This isn't France or Belgium or Finland. This is America. We like our freedom, and we're going to keep it in spite of rats like you.
Dare you! You will suffer for this, as no man has ever suffered before.
Mr. White, please don't say any more.
He has already said too much. Hunt!
Yeah, Doctor.
Hunt. I want you to meet the editor of the great Daily Planet newspaper, Herr White. He has just insulted me once. Nein. That will come later. He may be of use to us. In the meantime, I want you to make him suffer for the insult. You understand?
Yeah, very well.
Take him away.
Oh, no, please, he didn't mean it.
Lois, don't plead with the swine. They don't dare touch me.
He shall see.
Take
him away.
You don't
Please
have to
don't.
drag me. I'll go. But remember this, Deutsch. It doesn't matter what you do with me. There are 100 million more like me in this country, and every one of them hates you and the things you represent. Now remember that, Deutsch. Every East American in this country hates.
What?
Too bad he's such a fool, Herr White.
What are you going to do to him?
He will get what he deserves.
But he's not a young man. He's not strong. You're liable to kill him.
That, Miss Lane, is the least.
You're a fiend. Nothing but a fiend.
Those are very unpleasant words, Miss Lane. I would advise you not to use them again. I am extremely sensitive.
Why are you holding us here? What have we done to you?
You have attempted to interfere with my plans. Nothing can do that.
You must believe me. We were lost. All we wanted were directions.
Enough of this farce, Miss Lane. You and Herr White did not come here by accident. You knew somehow that we planned to get our hands on the Grayson submarine.
What?
Your innocence is not very convincing, Miss Lane. Tell me, how did you know?
We didn't know. I swear to you we didn't.
You lie. But it doesn't matter. We have the submarine. It lies at anchor in a hidden cove nearby. Shortly, when we have disposed of some other interferers on another submarine, including your friend Clark Kent, we will sail the Grayson ship across the ocean to where it belongs. And you, I think, will have the honor of sailing with us.
No, you can't do that.
Quiet. The power has gone off.
Ja, Doktor.
Power is off. Why is it off?
Das Zweite ist nun entkommen.
Dann fahren wir sofort mit dem ersten. Befehl geben.
Jawohl.
I'm sorry to have to tell you, Miss Lane, that the submarine carrying Herr Kent has escaped our trap. Under the circumstances, I think it wise to sail at once. You and Herr White will accompany us. In case of difficulty, it will be well for us to have 2 Americans on board.
No, I won't go with you.
You have one of 2 choices, Miss Lane. Either you will accompany us willingly alive, or you will remain behind dead. You see that clock on the mantelpiece? It's about to strike the hour. You must decide before it finishes striking.
With Lois forced to make a decision that will mean disaster in one way or another, the situation looks desperate. Meanwhile, Commander Lee's submarine, having escaped the trap, is back at the naval base. Clark Kent has been given up for lost. The tragic news travels like wildfire. But even as giant presses pour extras into the street, a strange figure wheels above the city of Metropolis in curious flight. Red cloak streaming in the night wind, powerful muscles rippling beneath the taut material of his blue costume, Superman hovers over the Daily Planet building, his sharp eyes piercing the darkness. Suddenly, like some giant bird, he plummets to earth, lands on a side street, and steps back into the shadow of a doorway. In a moment, he has assumed the guise of Clark Kent, meek, soft-voiced reporter, and waits as slow, dejected footsteps approach up the street.
Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy, over here. You can't. No, it can't be. I'm seeing things.
Jimmy, come into the doorway.
You said you were lost. Dad, I heard it on the radio.
Yes, I know. I want everyone to believe I'm lost.
Why did they say it? I was going to quit my job. I didn't want to be a copy boy or a reporter or anything else if you were gone.
Tops, Jimmy. Now, look, we've got plenty of work to do, so buck up.
Okay, Mr. Kent. Gee, I'm glad to see you. Boy, oh, boy.
I'm gladder than I am to see you. I've been waiting hours for you to come out of the Daily Planet building. Is Mr. White still in his office?
Gosh, no. That's another thing, Mr. Kent. Lois and Mr. White left for the naval base the minute they heard you were trapped in that submarine.
Oh?
That was at 6 o'clock.
It's after 10. They're probably at the base now.
No, they never got there.
What do you mean?
Well, Mr. White's secretary has been calling the naval base every 10 minutes since 8 o'clock, but they never arrived.
That's funny.
Say, what's this all about, Mr. Kent? What happened on that submarine?
It's too long a story to tell you now, Jimmy.
I know most of it. The Grayson submarine went down in a test dive and got stuck at 350 feet. And another submarine went down after it and got stuck, too. Were you really on that second submarine?
Yes, but neither of them got stuck. They were trapped.
Trapped? Deep in the ocean? What trapped them?
Huge steel nets that closed around them. The Grayson submarine was dragged away before anyone could help it, but the ship I was on got free of the net.
Gosh, Mr. Kent, who put the nets down there? And why?
That's what we have to find out, Jimmy. Who's behind this? The reason for trapping the Grayson sub is pretty obvious. Someone wants to copy its design.
You mean foreign agents?
That's right. Now, look, Jimmy, we're wasting time. I want you to go back to the office and stay there all night if necessary. Try to contact Mr. White and tell him I'm safe, but tell him not to repeat it to a soul. If the people behind all this are as smart as I think they are, they probably knew I was on the second submarine and have heard over the radio that I've been given up for lost. All right, now let's leave it that way. They won't be looking for a dead man. You understand?
Uh-huh. Gosh, you're smart.
Well, let's see how smart I am. All right, get going. I'll contact you if I need anything. So long.
So long, Mr. Kent. Good luck.
I hope he can reach Mr. White before he gets too worried. Funny about their not having gotten to the naval base. Probably had a flat or ran out of gas. I think the only thing for me to do is fly along the coast. That missing submarine must be in the water somewhere. I'll find it.
As Superman, if I have to circle the globe. Up! Up! And away!
Somewhere, the Grayson submarine, pride of America's underseas craft, is in the murderous hands of agents hostile to the democracies of the world. With Lois Lane, Perry White, its designer and its crew prisoners on board, the sleek steel craft is even now plowing its way out to sea. Can Superman, even with all his amazing powers, find it in the vast darkness of the ocean, or is it destined to fall into the hands of the enemies of peace? There's excitement and danger ahead. Don't miss it.
Don't forget, tune in again for the next thrilling episode with Superman.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Superman is a copyrighted feature appearing in Action Comics magazine.
Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal, invites you to rocket into the future with Corbett, Space Cadet.
Stand by to raise ship.
Blast off minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0! As roaring rockets blast off to distant planets and far-flung stars, we take you to the age of the conquest of space with
ship, the crew prepares for touchdown with the ease of long practice. At the controls sit Tom Corbett and his astrogator, Roger Manning, while Astro stands by below on the power deck. And as the ship falls through the successive layers of atmosphere, gaining momentum, Tom and Roger stare through the viewport at the round ball of Earth rushing up to meet them.
What's our altitude, Roger? 100,000 feet, Tom. Keep giving me altitude. 90,000 feet. We better start braking. Control deck to power deck. Check in.
Power deck, aye.
Okay, Astro. Stand by to blast braking rocket.
Right, Tom. Ready whenever you are.
What did you say?
I'm all set, Tom.
Oh, okay. Couldn't hear you for a second. 70,000 feet. Hit them now, Astro. Braking rockets 1/4. Astro, acknowledge. Something's wrong down there, Roger. Something will be wrong up here, too, if we don't start braking. Down to 50,000. Take over the controls. I'm going down to the power deck. Blast, Junior, blast, or we're going to splash ourselves all over Space Academy. Astro, what's the... Great jumping Jupiter. Hello, control deck. Check in, Roger.
What are you waiting for, Junior? We're down to 25,000 feet.
Listen, Astro's out cold.
What?
Stand by your controls. I'm taking over down here. Hey, Astro, snap out of it. Come on.
Hey, cut it out, Tom. What are you trying to do?
Come on, wake up, Astro. Wake up.
Huh? Hey, where are we? Did we land okay? What happened?
That's what I'd like to know, sleeping beauty.
I must have blacked out. The last thing I remember, we were getting ready to land.
You sure picked a fine time to take a nap, Astro. You almost made it a permanent one for all of us.
I got dizzy. The whole ship seemed to be turning around, and well, that's all I remember.
Oh, come on, Astro. Roger and I are taking you over to sick bay.
No, I feel fine now.
But, Astro, you'd better get a checkup.
There's nothing wrong with me, I tell you. In fact, I'm hungry. Come on, let's check in and go to chow.
Well, all right, Astro, if you say so, but I still think that...
Stop thinking about it, or I'll show you how healthy I am.
All right. Come on, let's go.
Well, good morning, Cadet.
Good morning, ma'am. Polaris unit reporting for class.
Do you have your laboratory assignment?
Yes, Dr. Dale. I'm in Laboratory J. Laboratory K for me. I stay right here, ma'am.
Very good. The labs are already set up with the equipment you'll need for your experiments. Here they are. Tom, Roger, Astro. Now, you're to make some of the gases that you meet on other planets in the solar system and study their properties. But I must warn you to be extremely careful because many of them are very poisonous, and even small quantities are dangerous. Now, is everything clearly understood?
Certainly, Dr.
All right, carry out your instructions. I'll be in my office if you need me.
Oh, brother. Look what I pull. Methane and ammonia, the stuff you find on Titan. Well, if you hear me coughing, think nothing of it.
Now, let's see. I've got diethylchlorine. Well, that should be easy to make.
Be careful, Astro. You don't blow up toy balloons with that stuff. It's one of the deadliest.
I can handle it. You'd better get over to your own lab, Tom, and get started. We haven't too much time on this deal.
Right. Are you sure you'll be all right, Astro?
Blast off, will you? I'm fine.
Okay, Astro. See you later.
Why don't those characters stop bothering me? I'm okay. Now, let's see. Diethylchlorine, huh? Blasted. Why don't they use bigger type in these instructions? I can hardly read them. Getting awfully warm in here. And the print, it's so blurred, the room, it's going around. I can't stop it. Help. Tom. Roger. Help me. Oh. Return to the exciting adventures of Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, in just a moment. So stand by.
You know, spaceman, there's a lot more to being a space cadet than just flying around space. The cadets have to work and learn on the ground, too. Now, take the Space Academy instrument shop. Space cadets learn to repair and operate all the instruments that are standard equipment on rocket ships and jet boats. You know, I saw Tom Corbett down there one day, and he was telling me all about...
Hi there. I'm working on a radar scope. You know, a radar scope is the eyes and ears of a rocket ship. It's got to be in good working order or else. Space cadets have to be in good working order, too, or else. That's why we stock up on good foods like Kellogg's Pep to get the food values we need for strong bones, strong muscles, and on-the-double energy. Kellogg's Pep helps me to start the day with plenty of stock, plenty of drive. And say, if you have plans for being a space cadet someday, the thing for you to do is to start eating Kellogg's Pep right now, starting tomorrow morning. Just ask your mom to get Kellogg's Pep.
Well, that was Tom Corbett talking about his favorite cereal again. You know, it's no surprise. Tom Corbett likes a cereal with lots of flavor, and Kellogg's Pep fills the bill perfectly. You try Tom Corbett's favorite wheat cereal tomorrow morning. Get the build-up wheat cereal, Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep. Returning to Space Academy after a long training cruise, Astro suddenly blacks out, and only Tom's quick action saves the Polaris from a disastrous crash landing. Worried about their friend, Tom and Roger try to get Astro to sickbay for a checkup, but he stubbornly refuses. Now, however, in a laboratory class, as he handles poisonous chemicals, the young cadet from Venus faints again, dropping several beakers. And as he lies unconscious on the floor, the room begins to fill with diethylchlorine, the deadly poison gas of the planet Uranus. Suddenly, however, the door is flung open and Tom Corbett rushes in.
Astro! Astro! Great Jupiter, he passed out again. Dr. Dale! Roger! Roger, come here! Wait! Hey, what's all the racket? Astro! Get rid of that beaker of gas. Quick, Roger. And open the windows. You bet.
Corbett. What happened to Astro?
He fainted, ma'am.
Get the emergency kit. Hurry, Tom. Give me the syringe with the camphor adrenaline.
Yes, ma'am. Here you are.
Here, hold his arm out. This should bring him out of it. If he didn't breathe too much of that gas.
There. Will he be all right, Dr. Dale?
Wait, he's coming out of it.
Hey. What happened?
You fainted, Astro.
Oh. I feel as if I swallowed a jar of mustard.
No, just a few mouthfuls of diethylchlorine. Do you think you'll be all right now?
Oh, sure, ma'am.
Well, I'm sending you to sick bay with Roger.
Oh, no. Well, that isn't necessary, Dr. Dale. I feel fine now. I don't want to...
That is an order, Cadet Astro.
Yes.
Come on, Junior. After those gas pits of Venus, I can't understand how a nice gas like diethylchlorine can bother you.
Tom.
Yes, Dr. Dale?
You're pretty close to Astro, aren't you?
He's my best friend, Dr. Dale.
Well, tell me, has Astro seemed, different lately? Has he changed in any way?
Well, come to think of it, ma'am, he has. Usually he's pretty calm and easygoing. The only one who can ever get a rise out of him is Roger. But on this last training flight, he was jumpy and irritable, even with me. And then sometimes I found him staring into space. He seemed to be dreaming. I had to call him a couple of times to make him snap out of it.
I see.
Does that mean anything to you, ma'am?
I'm afraid it does.
Then you know what's the matter with him?
Well, frankly, Tom, I think Astro is suffering from a disease all spacemen fear the most. Space fever.
Space fever?
Yes, Tom. And if I'm right, Astro's days as an active cadet are numbered. If he doesn't pass the examination, he'll be grounded forever or medically discharged from the academy.
Dr. Dale, Captain Strong, is Astro all right?
Sorry, Tom, but the results aren't all in yet. Right now, it's touch and go.
The last test Astro took will tip the balance one way or the other. We'll just have to wait.
Okay, we'll wait here with you.
No, I'm afraid you can't, Tom. I've just received orders from Commander Arkwright to blast off on a routine training flight to Mars. We raise ship in 1 hour.
Is Astro coming with us?
We probably won't know until just before flight time, Roger. But this much is certain. If Astro isn't in our crew when we raise ship, he'll never go into space again. Are we ready to blast off, Corbett?
Aye, sir.
But did you get clearance from Spaceport Control, Manning?
Yes, sir. We're on 10-minute alert.
Very good. Notify Control. We'll blast off on schedule.
Well, sir, what about...
Well, speak up, Corbett.
Isn't Astro coming along?
Astro? Well.
Cadet Harvey reporting, sir.
Oh, yes. Corbett, Manning, I want you to meet George Harvey, a new member of the Polaris unit. Cadet Harvey will take over the power deck.
The power deck? But that's Astro's station.
Sir, does that mean that Astro...
We'll talk about that later, Tom. I'll be back in a moment. You might make Cadet Harvey feel a little more at home.
So you're the new power pusher, huh? How do you rate getting into this unit?
I don't know. I just got orders to report to the Polaris. Very glad to be with you. Heard you're a pretty good crew.
We're the best crew, Junior. And while I'm about it, I might as well let you know where you stand around here.
Wait a minute, Roger. He stands equal with all of us. Don't mind him, Harvey. You see, we're disappointed that...
Skip it, Corbett. I heard about Astro.
I'm only afraid I won't be able to fill his shoes.
You will, after we work on you a little while.
All right, boys. Get ready for blastoff. But first, I want you to meet a passenger we're going to carry on this flight.
A passenger? What are we running, a ferry service?
That will be enough from you, Manning.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir.
Now, this passenger is important to all of us. I want you to show him every consideration.
Astro!
Why, you old space!
Oh, this is terrific, Captain Strong. Why didn't you tell us Astro was rejoining the crew?
I'm not rejoining you, Tom. I'm just going along for the ride.
The ride?
That's right, Manning. Astro is only a passenger. The examination wasn't conclusive, so he's being sent on this trip to test his reactions out in space. His future status in the Academy will depend on how he comes through. Well, that's the story. Prepare for blastoff.
What a lucky stiff you are, Astro. To be able to dope off while we chauffeur you around the universe.
Shut up, Roger. Shut up. What? Why, listen here, you... Yes, Roger. This is no time to kid around.
All right, boys. Take your station.
Atmosphere, Captain Strong.
Right. Put the ship on automatic control. Oh, where's Astro?
Topside, sir, in his bunk.
You boys will have to handle him with silk gloves. Use every bit of tact and understanding you can.
But, Captain, if he isn't well, why did the doctor let him come along?
Tom, the pressure test showed him to be a borderline case of space fever. Now, that apparatus is the nearest thing we have to actual space flight, but it's still just an electronic device. So the final proof had to be an actual flight. In fact, I insisted on this trip against the advice of the doctors.
You kind of stuck your neck out, sir.
Yes, in a way. If anything should happen to Astro now, I'll be responsible.
Strong, we're approaching Mars orbit. Ready to land in 10 minutes.
Good. Prepare for landing operation, Tom. Oh, but have Astro come down here first.
Aye, sir. Hello, Astro. Check in.
Go ahead, Tom.
We land in 10 minutes. The skipper wants you down on the control deck.
What's the matter? Is he afraid I'll black out again?
Of course not, Astro. Come on down. He's certainly getting jumpy, Skipper.
Yes, I've noticed. You better alert Harvey to stand by.
Control deck to power deck. Check in.
On deck, got it.
Approaching orbit of Mars. Prepare for standard approach.
Ready anytime you want, Tom.
Right. Cadet Harvey seems to be fitting in nicely, sir.
And I'm glad of that.
Cadet Astro reporting is ordered, sir.
Well, Astro, how are you doing?
I'm all right.
Oh, good. Well, we're approaching Mars. You'd better stay with us until we land.
Why, so you can keep your eye on me? What's that? Captain Strong. Take a look out there, out in space.
What? Great Jupiter, we're in the middle of a meteor shower.
What a show. This is a ringside seat.
It's just a little too close for me. If one of those white-hot pieces of space junk ever hits us, we'll be part of the fireworks.
Any chance of that, sir?
Well, not much, I guess. There's very little possibility of a direct hit, but you never know.
Hey, did you see that?
Oh, that was a close one.
I could feel the heat right through the hull.
Who turned on the heat? I feel as if I'm being brought alive up here.
Sir, I think I smell smoke.
What? Well, Tom, you're right. Quick, sound the emergency alarm. The ship is on fire.
Straight up, bridge control deck. Check in.
Control deck, aye. Go ahead, Roger.
Who turned up the heat? I'm getting toasted up here.
What? Oh, Captain Strong, look. Smoke coming from the main duct. Great galaxy, the ship is on fire.
The smoke is coming from the power deck vents. Call Harvey, quick, Tom.
Control deck to power deck. Check in, Harvey.
Power deck, got it.
Harvey, what happened down there?
The heat from that meteor. It kills the coupling on the main control board. Everything's short-circuited. And the auxiliary reaction tank is on fire.
Captain Strong, did you hear that?
Yes, we've got to kill that fire. And fast, or the whole ship will blow up.
ahead in just a moment, so stand by. Say, Spaceman, how many different magic eyes do you have in your collection right now? Do you have the magic eye showing Paramount star Bill Holden in a scene from the picture Submarine Command? Do you have the magic eye showing a jet streaking through the sky? Do you have the magic eye showing trains, planes, and all the others, like movie stars, sports stars, all your favorites? Well, say, Spaceman, let's get a move on. Those magic eyes are just waiting to be picked up at your grocery store. That's right. You get a magic eye with a picture that moves and shows you exciting action. Now, every package of Kellogg's Pep has a magic eye packed right inside. Here's a prize you don't have to wait for, you don't have to send for. All you have to do is to get Kellogg's Pep, and you'll get a magic eye free at no extra cost right inside the package. Don't delay, Spaceman. Get all 16 of these exciting magic eye pictures in your magic eye collection. Remember, there's a magic eye in every package of Kellogg's Pep. P-E-P. Pep. Believed to be a victim of space fever, Astro was taken on a routine training flight to Mars as a passenger in order to test his reactions out in space. But now, as the powerful rocket ship nears its destination, it is suddenly engulfed by a large meteor shower. And as one white-hot meteor passes dangerously close, its heat fuses the cables in the main control board and sets the ship aflame. Attention all hands. Attention all hands. Breakout spacesuits. Emergency fire procedure. Radar bridge. Check in.
Radar bridge, aye.
Contact Marsport. Send out a distress alarm.
Aye, sir.
Tom. Aye, Captain Strong. Close all portals and seal the decks. We'll try to keep the fire from spreading. Right, sir. Captain Strong, I'll go down to the power deck and see if I can do something. You'll stay right where you are, Astro. But, sir, I can help. You'll help me by keeping out of the way. Hello, control deck to power deck. Check in, Harvey.
Power deck, aye.
Are the automatic extinguishers working? Can they hold the fire to the auxiliary tank?
No, sir. I can't get a thing out of them. They're not working. The fire is spreading fast.
Then dump the reaction mask.
I can't, sir. All electric controls are out. The whole cabin is shorted.
All right, abandon the power deck. Get up here on the double.
Aye.
Captain Strong, let me take over down there. Harvey's a good man, but he hasn't got the experience. Sorry, Astro, we can't risk it. But, sir, you heard me, Astro. I can't take the chance of you blacking out down there. Now, for the last time, keep out of my way. Yes, sir.
Hey, Captain Strong.
Manning, did you contact Marsport?
I couldn't, sir. The radar bridge is dead. Nothing's working. That's why I came down here. Even the ship's intercom is out. Captain Strong, I can't seal the portals. All power is gone.
When that does it, we'll have to abandon the ship.
Wait a minute, sir. There's still a way to put the fire out. Are you crazy, Junior? The extinguishers won't work. Space is a good extinguisher. Space?
I think you've got something there, Tom. If we can open the power deck airlock, all the oxygen will rush out, and the fire won't be able to sustain itself. It'll be smothered.
That's the idea, sir.
Go on. Get your spacesuit on, Tom. We haven't a second to lose. Watch your step, Tom. If that fire touches your spacesuit, you're done for.
I'll be careful, sir.
Can you see the airlock? So smoky in here, I can't. Over this way. Take your hand on my shoulder.
Oh, right. Look at those flames.
They're awfully close to the main tank. Keep moving, Tom. There's the lock.
Yeah. I see it, sir.
Now, we'll have to open it manually. Are you ready?
Oh, wait. Let me get a good grip on it.
Right. And watch yourself. Don't get caught in the draft when the air rushes out.
Okay, sir. I'm ready.
Pull!
Oh, thing is rough. I can't budge it.
Keep trying.
Sir, the fire. It's licking at the main reactor tank.
Never mind that, Tom. Get this airlock open. Pull!
Aye, sir. It's giving a little.
Now, once more. Give it all you've got.
Get it, sir. The fire is out.
All right, boys. Everything's under control now. Tom and I did a patch job on the main control panel. We'll be able to land at Marsport.
Nice going, Skipper. I thought sure we were going to be blown sky high.
That was close, all right. Harvey.
Oh, yes, sir.
Get back down to the power deck and cut in number 2 and 3 rockets. That's all we'll need.
Aye, sir.
And you get back to your station, man.
Right, sir. What about me, sir? You still want me down here on the control deck?
Yes, Astro. Until we land.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and Astro, I'm sorry if I was a little abrupt with you before, but
Well, you should understand.
Don't worry, Captain Strong. I understand perfectly. If you'll excuse me, I'll lie down on one of the acceleration cushions. I've got to take good care of myself, you know. He's sure taking it hard, Captain Strong.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing we can do about it, I'm afraid. This is one battle Astro has to fight with himself, and the odds are stacked against him.
Don't miss the next action-packed adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet, on Thursday, when the crew of the Polaris rockets into danger on the return flight to Earth, and Astro takes the final test in his trial in space. Tune in, same time, same station on Thursday for the next thrilling interplanetary adventure with Tom Corbett, Space Cadet. Brought to you by Kellogg's Pep, the build-up wheat cereal.
Tired of the everyday routine? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape. Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure. It's time to escape with an exciting story of men and women whose dramatic lives will carry you beyond the horizons of the ordinary scene to a fascinating world of secret enterprise, strange experience, unforgettable adventure. The charmed world of Escape. Tonight, we escape with the most unusual story of suspense and terror in occupied Paris, as Marcel Aimé tells it in his unforgettable tale, Crossing Paris.
If you had been in Paris during the occupation by the Nazis, the filthy Boche, you would have seen a lot of interesting things. You might even have caught a glimpse of women stealing through the streets at night as inconspicuously as possible for a man carrying a heavily loaded valise in his hand. These valises were lined inside with canvas to prevent the leakage of any telltale drops of blood. And they belonged to my employer, Monsieur Jean-Pierre, in whose cellar the original butchering was accomplished. Quite often I worked with an assistant carrier, usually Le Tambour. One winter afternoon I set out to meet Le Tambour at the Café Voltaire on the Boulevard de la Bastille. The trees were bright with frost, and the day seemed dying of cold. It was nearly dark when I reached the Café Voltaire and went in. I went straight up to the bar.
What will it be? You look cold enough for a brandy.
I can bring brandy in any season. So can Le Tambour.
Yeah, this will warm your bones. The Tambour was in. Said to tell you he wasn't free tonight.
Cassie, how can you behave like that? He has no respect for his work.
Respect for our work. Who is this, Le Tambour? Respect for our work.
Oh, peace, monsieur. I'm talking to the bartender. It's no affair of yours.
Must teach you his affair it is.
He put his glass down and staggered up to me, fist raised. At the same moment, a huge man with a head like a ram slipped around from behind me, caught the Bronx chin in his big hand, and pushed him backward with a powerful thrust.
I get it now. The police always travel in pairs.
They're not police, you idiot.
Yes, police written all over them. Well, then let's go, my lad. Pay for our drinks now, and we'll report to the station for duty. Pay off and let's pay off, huh?
I don't know why, but I paid. And then, still laughing, the big one took me by the arm and we started
Come
off.
along.
He was a rough fellow, probably a laborer. Dressed as he was in a spotted shiny suit and a dark turtleneck sweater. The tight brown curls that made his huge head gave him the appearance of a great ram. When we reached the street, the night was already black with high, icy winds.
Well, that was a squalid scene.
The man was drunk, but I could have handled him. I carried a knife, you know. You didn't have to interfere.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Well, anyway, you probably saved him from being cut up.
But I didn't realize you were going to cut him up. My apologies, monsieur.
You are a bloodthirsty brute. What do you do? What is your trade?
Oh, this and that. I manage.
Look here. You're a strong fellow, and if you're not afraid of a little risk, I can give you a job tonight as my assistant. It pays well, too.
How much?
400 francs?
You're on.
But you don't even want to know what it is?
You're an assassin.
Of course not. I'm a man of honor above all.
What difference does it make?
You're an odd type. All right, then, and let's turn off here. First, we must go to the Rue Polevo. Our work starts there.
Good, but let's walk faster. I'm cold.
It's me, Pierre. Where's the other one? Le Tombeau got out on me tonight, so I've asked my friend Grandgilles here to take his place. But he's all right.
Hurry then. You're late.
We followed Monsieur Jean across the cellar to a big table where stained white cloth covered a shapeless form. He proudly removed the shroud, revealing a whole hog which had been cut neatly into a dozen portions. Then he stood back and allowed us to feast our eyes.
He's a beauty. No?
How much does he weigh?
200 pounds. But divided into 4 valises? You manage him all right.
It's easy to see you've never carried 100 pounds of black market pig about Paris.
You're wasting time. Hand me a valise under the table.
Where let him go tonight?
To Montmartre, butcher shop. In the Rue Goulencourt, number 43. And one thing now. To arrange his deliveries, he must have the meat there by 2 a.m. If you are late, he will not accept it. Not distance for a young man like you, but...
How much are you giving us?
Now, Pierre, a bargain is a bargain.
But not. That's a different man.
You're perfectly well. I can't risk keeping the pig here, and it's too late to get anybody else to
carry 200 pounds of black market meat all the way across Paris in the dead of night with the police lying in wait for us at every turn all the way.
All right. You'll get 50 francs more.
I want respectable pay for my work. No, not just a tip.
500 then. But not a sou more.
It is hard work and it involves great risk. 600 francs.
Monsieur Jamblier, tell me, is this really number 45?
Why do you ask that?
For no reason at all, because I know the answer. Monsieur Jamblier, 45 Rue Polevo.
Who is this man, Pierre?
You will do me the courtesy of keeping your mouth shut. I do the talking here. Now, you agree then to 600 francs.
Monsieur Jamblier, 45 Rue Polevo, my share will be 1,000 francs.
Are you mad? Don't pay any attention to him. He's my assistant, so you just give me 2 times 600 francs and I'll settle with him later.
All right, then here, take it. I can't have you here all night.
Jamblier, 45 Rue Polevo, now my share will be 1,500 francs.
Jamblier stood as if frozen, his jaws clenched. The man was not even looking at him, but instead he walked nonchalantly around the cellar, examining the foodstuffs stored there. He spied a string of sausage hanging on the wall, jerked it off, stuck it into the pocket of his jacket. Then he found a large paper sack and burst it with the end of his index finger. A stream of lentils ran out through the hole and onto the floor.
Monsieur Jamblier, 45 Rue Polevo, give me 2,000 francs. Or shall I wreck this place?
Jamblier looked at him fearfully for a moment.
Then he pulled a fat billfold from his pocket and handed 2 notes of 1,000 francs each to the ram, who parted with them calmly and caught a third one on the fly. I started toward Gongji to make him tell you mine.
Alone. I can't afford a row here.
I don't want a row, but after all, he's my assistant.
This is my cellar. I paid out enough money to have peace here at least. You can settle with him, Lisa. Right now we've got to finish packing the militias. It's late.
All right, you're the boss. Come on, let's get it done.
I'd postpone this whole thing if I could.
We went back to the table and finished wrapping and fitting the sections of pork into the valise. Gongji sat across the cellar on a wine barrel, eating a thick slice of ham he'd found. When we were packed, he got up, came over to pick up his 2 valises. This apparent willingness seemed to impress Jean-Louis, and when we reached the door, he stuck a pack of cigarettes into the ram's pocket.
That's for the 2 of you.
For the trip. Cigarettes at night, a fine way to get ourselves picked up.
Oh, come now, Pierre. Don't worry, sir.
I have to have 2,000 francs more.
Not a sou.
Give me 2,000 francs, for heaven's sake, Jean-Louis! 2,000 francs,
Stop it, you got the police on you. Blackmailer here. Take them and go. Shut up in the name of Mary. Shut up.
Open the door. Let's get out of here. I'll settle with you later, my fine friend.
Jean-Louis, I now have to have another 2,000.
Quiet. I couldn't stop. Now, don't you dare pull anything like that again. What's the matter with you anyway? Do you want to go to jail? I'm warning you now.
Stop chirping at me, or I'll pinch your head off and let you bleed.
Well, I don't want any trouble, but after all, I've given you a job. This is my work, and you should have some respect for it.
That's for your job. I've got it. Yes. Come on, little one. Let's get it over with, huh? Come on. Come on, I said.
It's the obligation of all of us to participate in the effort being expended to protect democracy. Our national security and the current United Nations police action in Korea demands that the size of our armed forces be increased. If you're between the ages of 17 and 34, support the United Nations police action by enlisting in the United States Army or Air Force. Men are vitally needed for important jobs in all departments of the Army and Air Force. Strength is needed in the Far East. To have strength requires manpower. Young men who are eligible for selective service have the vigor and imagination that are necessary for an effective Army and Air Force. Volunteer to serve your nation. Be a part of the Army and Air Force and take part on your own team of young men. See your local recruiting sergeant and volunteer to enlist today. Do it now. Yes, if you're between 13 to 34, enlist in the Army or Air Force now.
This Gongji was a sinister character. He blackmailed Jean-Louis out of 5,000 francs and then threatened me with I don't quite know what. Still, there was nothing to do but follow him. It was too late to get anyone else to help me carry Jean-Louis' black market pink in Montmartre. Besides, when I start a job, I finish it. A frozen wind whistled down the Rue Polleau, stiffening our fingers on the valise handles. We walked slowly with heads down.
Where do we cross the river?
We'll have to go up to the Ile Saint-Louis. Too near the railway station down here. Too many police patrols and German soldiers around here.
Well, let's hurry then. My hands are turning to stone.
The oily water in the Seine was black as coal, and along the banks the bare trees stood bleak and spectral. Finally we reached the Ile Saint-Louis, and with the cord turned into the first side street for a moment's respite from the paralyzing north wind.
It's a wonder that air doesn't freeze. Why in the name of heaven do you work at this job?
I make my living this way. Every man to his trade.
Well, it's not much fun. Plowing around in the night with valises full of lead, your face cracking with the cold. And all for the benefit of a thieving rascal like that Jean-Louis.
You made out all right with Jean-Louis.
You want some of it?
If it had been just between you and Jamblier, all right. But I'm the one that brought you there. In my work, I am strictly honest. Let us go.
Wait just a moment. Now tell me, how much can you get for pork in the black market?
Forget it.
75 francs a pound?
Forget it,
I'm sure we could sell Jamblier's pig at 75 francs a pound. That would give us 30,000 francs. 15,000 apiece of easy money, so instead of killing ourselves in this...
Listen, no, stand absolutely still. Now.
Oh, fine. Very good. Thank you. You only have a cigarette and it's cold. Oh, we can't smoke. It would help to warm us a bit.
That was close. Come on, let's get out of here. Follow me in hurry, or we'll never make it by 2 a.m. We walked along silently. The moon was still hidden, but the night had grown lighter and consequently more dangerous for us. After a block or two, I suddenly sensed the Grangeur was no longer behind me, and turning, I saw him halfway across the street, headed toward a line of blue light that framed the doorway of the cafe.
I'm going to get a shot of liquor!
Come back here, you fool! You can't tell that fucking lamb!
I won't be long!
He was already opening the door. Curse him! No telling what he was up to now. But in any event, I couldn't leave him there in Jamblier's pork. So I crossed the room and followed him inside. Several men who looked like clerks were playing cards at a table. The proprietor's wife sat knitting a sock behind the cash register, looking suspiciously at Grangeur, who was already standing at the bar, one foot resting on his valises.
Proprietor, give us some mulled wine.
This is my closing time.
Give us some mulled wine.
You're not running into my place with the police at your heels, are you?
Give us some mulled wine.
No, don't cause a row with me.
Mulled wine, proprietor, mulled wine.
Grangeur, shut up, I tell you. If you quiet down, monsieur, I'll get it for you.
Oh, thank you, madame.
The proprietor's wife went out through a low door at the back, and Grangeur turned and stared at the 4 clerks who had stopped their card game.
You! No rights. There are 4 of you sitting there. You're half-starved on rotten carrots and sawdust pudding. You're smoking corn silk, all of you. And there's enough good, fat pork in these valises to make you rich. Well, what's to keep you from making off with it? You know well enough we're in no position to repose. Get out of here, you filthy paupers! Get out and howl against the black market! You rebel scum! What good does it do to make laws if they're not respected? You're brigands, anarchists, disloyal Frenchmen, all of you!
Oh, gee, have you lost your mind? You don't care what happens to you, but I do.
You don't say. You there, proprietor. Where did your lobster of a wife go? I can't wait all night. Get us some brandy. Get us some brandy, I said.
One, then. One, but please, no more. It's past closing time already.
Here's to you, little Pierre. You who are as timid as a girl, but whose charm I cannot resist. Your valises full of pork that these cowards refuse to take, I will carry as far as Le Havre on foot, on my knees, for you.
Here's your mulled wine, monsieur. Oh, but you have...
Give it to me, madame. Give me your pitcher of mulled wine,
She approached him with hesitation and placed the pitcher on the bar.
Thank you.
The man reached out, seized him with both hands, and heaved it with all his strength against the wall, where it started on the dung of a springboard. The unhappy couple dared not even turn their heads to ascertain the damage.
Excellent! Yes. And now my valises. Come, little Pierre. I wish never to see these wretched people again. Baboons, I ignore you. I erase you from my memory forever.
I followed it out, wondering how in the world I could keep this monstrous madman from getting us picked up by the police. The moon had come out now, and the center of the street looked like an arrow of brightness, while the shadows along the sidewalk offered dangerous possibilities of surprise. Grangeur threw away his cigarette as we approached the first street crossing. We had just reached the opposite curb when a man's voice rang out from the dark only 3 yards in front of us.
Stand where you are. No tricks now. What are you carrying in those valises?
Before taking that tone, you'd do well to identify yourself.
It's the police. You saw me well enough.
The police? Well, I'm certainly glad we ran into you. I've been looking for somebody to show us how to get to the Rue Sevigny.
You're going away from it. And I think...
You didn't tell me. Did you hear that? The Rue Sevigny is behind us. Well, then we just have to turn back.
Later, perhaps. Right now, you're going with me to the station.
Oh, maybe rest a moment first. We walked a long way looking for the Rue Sevigny. Perhaps I can explain.
No need for that. Come along now.
I put my valises down anyway, thinking it would give me a chance to talk him out of this. And the man, bending his knees slightly, put his down also, and then suddenly straightened up, smashing his arm down with his heavy fist. The poor man doubled his knees and fell flat. Rangino bent over him for a moment, then grabbed his hat and threw it into the middle of the street. The visor shone there in the moonlight.
Well, let's go.
That was smart. As soon as he comes to, he'll grab his whistle. In 5 minutes, all the police in the arrondissement will be after us.
That would surprise me. I have his whistle in my pocket.
Oh, wait a minute. Now what will we do? We don't dare go into a shelter with this man.
I live only 2 blocks from here. Come on.
In spite of carrying 100 pounds apiece of that cursed pig, we ran all the way. But at last we burst and lunge. We made it. I stopped a moment inside the door to catch my breath before climbing to the top floor where he said he lived. The van went on ahead, and the door was open when I finally arrived.
Come in, come in. I'll have a fire going in the stove in a moment.
It was a large, comfortable stool. I set my valises down near the door and stood there until Rangino drew a blackout curtain over the window and turned on the light. There were several easels in the room, and on the table near the window was spread out a number of drawings and paintings.
Surprised?
You're a painter?
Yes, I'm a painter.
You did all those?
I sell most of them around Montmartre. But since the German occupation, amusingly enough, not always for money, I barter. Only last week, for example, I sold a woman wearing nothing but high-heeled shoes and an opera hat. And do you know what I got? A ham. But here's one I've been commissioned for that will bring 100,000 francs. You like it?
No.
Because it's the portrait of a Nazi.
Perhaps. And because it's no good.
You're still angry with me, aren't you?
I don't know what to think of you.
Think what you like, then. I'm going to eat something.
The stove had commenced to glow, so I sat down in the easy chair next to it and soon became drowsy. The explosion was. And then a bell started ringing somewhere and woke me out of a sound sleep.
Rangino speaking. Sissy. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. No, Pierre Martin, What? No, you don't know him. Pierre Martin is a little gutter rat who works in the black market. Yes. He gave me a job, the poor idiot. Oh, I had great fun. Wore dirty clothes, played the role of the tough, a Satanist, a thief. Oh, it was very amusing, I assure you. What? Oh, no.
Slumming. He was slumming.
All about
mocking me. Making fun of my work. Laughing to himself all the time. I'll show you.
Pierre, such gentle little one. Oh, now, don't be angry.
You stop. And I thought you were hard up. I wanted to help you. And you, Mr. Gentleman, feeding himself to a taste of what I suppose you call the underworld. Like a stinking tourist.
Is there a reward up for you, Pierre?
It's stealing, that's what it is. You should have left the work to a man who needed it. You have no honor. No respect for work. You're a filthy rat.
Oh, but I have. Come over here. Look, I drew a portrait of you while you slept. Perhaps you will like this picture.
I don't even want to look at it. What do you think I am? Me, I earn my keep. I work hard. You and your Nazi. 100,000 franc commissions, you've done everything to make trouble for me. My work is amusing, eh? Well, I'll show you what I think of you.
Yeah, what are you up to?
Then, of course, the series of the hell the portrait of the Nazi
plunged my knife into it as a cop. He went down. I was about to flash it across the middle of the dog view. You brought his knife to me. I reached the floor. I was slowly choking my life out with his fist fingers. I began to beat the floor, and I threw my open hand. He struck the knife in one hand and seized it. My eyes were turning back in my head as I flashed out of his wrist. And then I howled and sat back watching the blood drip from one hand. I was too weak to move, so I lay there holding my knife over my chest, pointing it at him. Suddenly his eyes went white with insane rage, and before I could move, he threw himself on top of me again. My knife had been driven straight into his heart. His legs touched the wheel, and then he still. I looked at him. I didn't believe me. I never killed. I never wanted to kill anyone. I covered my... All 4 releases to the butcher shop. In the knot. All right, I've waited. All there. Of course it is. I'm the man who honored monsieur. I can see that. You made it on time, too. But didn't you have an assistant? I understood from the place. It seems that my assistant, monsieur, didn't really need the work. I was forced to dismiss him. Well, anyway, you made it. Oh, yes, I always finish any job I start, monsieur. It was one day that I remember that Danger had said my name to a girl over the phone, and that my portrait sat waiting for the police in the studio. I put the 5,000 francs which I had taken from his body into an envelope and addressed it to Jean-Guillet. I dropped it in my box. He walked slowly down to the big market and lay on. It was almost dawn when I reached it. And the heavily loaded pushcarts were stacked up in the side streets, smelling of green vegetables and berries. The gutters were slippery with garbage, and lonely women in pink satin pumps were staggering wearily through the filth at the end of the all-night house. I sat down on the curb and watched her and said to myself, will none of us do what we wish to do? Do we live in?
The Army and Air Force is proud of its soldiers and airmen. Today's members of the armed forces have finer training, better equipment than ever before, and a strong, flexible defense of intelligent young men and women. We in America can maintain this effectiveness only by building strength and remaining strong. To have strength requires manpower, and men are vitally needed to support our forces in the Far East. You young men eligible for selective service make for the vigor, flexibility, and imagination that are necessary in an effective Army and Air Force. If you're of draft age and haven't yet received notice to report for pre-induction physical, volunteer to serve your nation now. Be a part of the Army and Air Force. Stop in at your nearest Army and Air Force recruiting station today and get the details. Volunteer your services now while you can still choose. Don't delay. Enlist today. Escape was produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, and tonight has presented Crossing Paris by Marcel Aimé. Adapted for radio by John Meston and starring Jay Novella with Bill Conrad. Featured in tonight's cast, were Howard McNair, Barney Phillips, Edgar Barrier, V.B. Janis, and Paul Frees. Special music was arranged and played by Ivan Ditmars. Starting next Thursday night over most of these same stations, radio's outstanding theater of thrills, Suspense, will return to the air. As its first star, Suspense presents Mr. Pat O'Brien in a thrilling story entitled True Report. Remember, radio's prize-winning mystery program, Suspense, returns to the air next Thursday night. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Sweet checks, nice checks, and good hot Ralston present Space Patrol! High adventure in the wild, vast reaches of space. Missions of daring in the name of interplanetary justice. Travel into the future with Buzz Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol! In today's transcribed adventure, Buzz and Happy are exploring a deserted city on the planet Saturn. As they enter a room filled with precious gems, a stealthy figure slinks to the door and aims a ray gun at them.
Look out, Commander. He's got a ray gun. He's firing.
Quick, Hap, run down that passage. Keep going, Hap. He's right behind him.
It's dark in here. He won't be able to see us. Commander, it's a dead-end passage. We're trapped.
We'll be back in just a moment with today's Space Patrol story, The Forgotten City. It's the cereal of the future, the real space cereal. A cereal that's different from any other cereal in the universe. The cereal you see on Commander Corey's own breakfast table. Delicious Rice Chex, the cereal with a flavor like no other flavor in all the universe. Delicious Rice Chex, crisp shredded rice, spun in that modern bite-sized design for easy eating. Delicious Rice Chex, a real space cereal. Gang, those bite-sized biscuits have space inside so they can fill up with milk or cream. Try Rice Chex today, the only bite-sized rice cereal in the universe. Rice Chex, the only official Space Patrol rice cereal, Rice Chex. The super cereal that helps to supercharge you. Rice Chex, at your grocers in the brand new red and white checkerboard package, with Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the magic space picture on the inside. Rice Chex, Rice Chex, Rice Chex. And now, today's Space Patrol adventure, The Forgotten City. Buzz and Happy are flying low over the Cinder Mountains on the planet Saturn, searching for a trace of a meteorology specialist, believed to have crashed in his atmosphere ship in the rugged region. So far, their spaceophone receiver has failed to pick up a signal from the automatic transmitter carried by the scientist, Byron Stearns.
Professor Stearns' transmitter must have finally talked out, Commander.
According to Space Patrol Saturn, they're very close to the point from which the signal came. Watch the viewscope, Hap, we may be able to spot the wreckage.
Must have been a pretty rugged crash to knock out that automatic transmitter.
Let's hope Stearns had time to get into a spacesuit. If the ship hull was smashed, he couldn't survive very long in this part of Saturn.
Well, what was it he was trying to tell Space Control just before the emergency transmitter cut out?
There was a lot of interference, Happy, almost like a jamming signal according to Space Control. The operator thought Stearns was telling him about sighting another atmosphere ship making close passes at him.
Something? They're on a lab ship?
Well, if he can prove something was responsible for whatever happened to Professor Stearns, then pilot would be grounded permanently.
And if he saw Professor Stearns was in trouble, he probably got away from this area as fast as he could. We may not be able to trail him.
Well, we'll see. If that was the case, the pilot was further negligent in not notifying Space Control if the lab ship was in trouble. We'll just keep searching. The last signal from the professor's emergency transmitter tells us that his ship was grounded.
I hope he didn't end up in one of those narrow ravines.
There's a chance he might have landed on the other side of the mountain range. We'll round that peak and circle back.
Commander, am I having hallucinations?
What do you mean?
Well, I was sure we were hundreds of degrees from the nearest city, but isn't that an atmosphere, sir, way up there in that mountain?
It certainly is. It's no hallucination. That's the dome of Rubeck.
Rubeck?
Yes, Rubeck, the forgotten city of Saturn.
Well, what's it doing up there in the Sunbar range?
It was built centuries ago by one of Saturn's first space pioneers, a man named Lucian Rubeck, the last remaining privately owned city in the solar system.
It doesn't look very big by modern standards. Still, it's pretty impressive, stuck way up there in the mountains.
It's been deserted for nearly 100 years, Happy. Lucian Rubeck's descendants lived there for several generations, and they gradually drifted away to the larger cities in the planet.
The forgotten city. I'd like to visit it someday.
It's pretty interesting. I understand it may be reopened by the government as a museum and put to some other use. That is, if none of the surviving Rubeck family object.
Well, why should they object? They are using the place.
Technically, it's still their property. The government's legal staff has been trying to locate the Rubeck heirs. Plenty are still alive.
Control Saturn, calling Commander Corey aboard Terra 5. Control Saturn, calling Commander Corey.
Corey here, go ahead.
Commander, a space ship located just astern.
Is he all right?
Oh, yes. He was wearing a space suit wandering around the
Vulcan range. That's 100 DU from the Sunbar region.
Yes. The automatic transmitter could have been out of adjustment.
I'm glad he's been found. Did he say how he crashed?
He wasn't able to give much information, Commander, and we haven't found records of the ship.
Where is he now?
Being brought to Saturn City Hospital. Send him to care of a space search.
Withdraw all patrols except the squadron in the Vulcan lane. Let's proceed with the search till Stern's ship is found.
Yes, ma'am.
Corey out.
That's rather strange, isn't it, sir?
About Stern showing up in the Vulcan lane? Yes, sir. I'm a bit confused about his exact location. The important thing is he's safe.
Yeah, and very lucky. His best bet would have been to stay at the wrecked ship instead of wandering through the mountains.
It gives Stern a chance to recover from his ordeal before we question him. In the meantime, are you still curious about the forgotten city?
Yes, sir.
And get out our spacesuits. We'll land outside the dome and do a little investigating.
Here's the lock control switch. It doesn't look so ancient. It's Imperium. The shiniest installed yesterday. Hope the power's still on. You'll know in a minute. I'll open the switch housing. Let's see. Here's the inside. Oh, here we are. So far, so good. Now let's try the inner lock and go into the next city. Inside the dome, the city really looks big. 100 years ago, Rubeck City was one of the most important settlements of Saturn, I think. And now it's completely deserted. Check your atmosphere indicator. Yes. That's funny. Going to indicate that the city's saying it's fit to breathe after 100 years. I think can open the faceplate for our helmets.
Oh, it's really close. How do you account for that, Commander?
Well, there are two explanations. The dome is so well constructed that none of the poisonous Saturn air is leaked in, or else the atmosphere washing plant is still in operation.
After 100 years?
It wouldn't have to work very often. Nothing inside the city shells to use up the air.
Oh, that's right. Smoking rockets, this is some city. Look at that tower up there.
Rubeck Tower. Lucian Rubeck designed it himself. He had his headquarters in the top floor.
And now Rubeck is a ghost city, completely deserted.
Makes you realize how impermanent human beings are. Uh-oh.
What is it, sir? What'd you find?
I saw a bottle on the side.
Yeah. Probably thrown there by one of the last people to leave Rubeck.
It's a medicine bottle. Space sickness formula. CH25.
And whoever threw it there hasn't been troubled with space sickness for 100 years.
That's a shame. This is a new formula. Hasn't been on the market more than 6 months.
What?
Your eyes open, Hank. Evidently, Rubeck City isn't as deserted as we thought.
Come in.
There are visitors in the city.
I know, sir. I've been watching them from the tower room. They're space patrolling.
What are they doing here? We've got to get rid of them.
Don't get excited, sir. By their casual attitude, they must think the city's deserted.
But no one ever comes here. They must know something.
If they suspected what we're using the city for, they'd have brought more men with them. Let them snoop around. It isn't likely they'll come up here.
Suppose Grayson comes back while they're here.
I've contacted Grayson by spaceophone. He'll keep away from the city until the space patrolmen leave.
Did he get rid of the lab ship pilot?
Yes. Turn him loose in the Vulcan Mountains. Pilot's already been picked up.
Suppose he tells them he was shoved down near Rubeck.
He's in a very dazed, confused condition. Grayson saw it all.
Space Patrol will assume the pilot was mistaken. Besides, you removed all trace of wreckage.
Yes, and I destroyed the automatic transmitter.
Then there's nothing to worry about.
But old Hannah, the Space Patrol and the city...
I know why they're here. The government's getting ready to take over Reba.
We have to leave before they find the stolen jewels and space credits we hidden here.
They won't search the city when they find out I'm the great-great-granddaughter of Lucy and Reba.
What? You are a descendant of Lucy and Reba?
No, of course not. But I can convince the government I am. I'm having special documents forged in Saturn City right now. I'll be able to convince the most skeptical attorney that I'm really the only living legal heir to Lubeck City.
Oh, I hope so. But I still don't like the idea of those Space Patrolmen snooping around.
Let them snoop. And don't interfere.
Oh, this is some building, Commander. Yes, Rubeck's spent a fortune on this one building alone. The elevator's there. Shall we go up to the tower? We could get a real good look at the city from there. Just a minute, Happy. Look at the carvings on this building. I bet anything Lucy and Rubeck had this imported from the planet Earth. Mm-hmm. It looks like the door was taken from an ancient Oriental temple. From a deserted city on Earth to a deserted city on Saturn. It's a massive handle. You don't see metal work of this kind anymore, Happy. Where this door leads. Yeah, there's a light on it. Flashed on automatically when I opened the door. Let's have a look. We'll go up to the tower later. Yes, sir. Oh, this must have been Lucy and Rubeck's treasure room. That's amazing. Look at those gold and silver buckets. Those flashing candlesticks. Oh, look. An ancient platinum electric lamp stand. I think Rubeck's descendants had thinned out everything of value from this land, apparently in the ground. Imagine all this stuff sitting here for hundreds of years and with no lock on the door. I'm not happy. This object isn't 100 years old. Oh, it's a model spaceship. Studded with jewels. It's a very recent model. Diamond and ruby. Happy, listen. For the same thing.
Look out, Commander. There's a man with a ray gun. Hold your fire. We're Space Patrolmen.
That's why I am shooting.
Quick, Happy, down this passage.
You aren't going to escape that way.
Keep going, Happy's right behind us. Yes, sir. It's dark in here. He won't be able to see us. Commander, it's a dead-end passage. We're trapped.
That's right. You're trapped. And I'm going to wait right here and pick you off. One at a time.
We'll return to Space Patrol in just a moment. Hi, gang. Captain Dick Tufeld speaking from the planet Earth. Doing a man-on-the-street broadcast this morning to see what some of these kids here on Earth think about the 3 official Space Patrol breakfast cereals. Now, here's a sharp-looking lad. Say there, what'd you say the very first time you tried bite-sized wheat checks?
I said,
And here's another fine-looking chap. Son, what did you say the very first time you tried bite-sized rice checks?
I said.
And here's still another youngster. Tell me, what's your opinion of Instant Ralston, a hot super cereal made of rich whole wheat?
Man, oh, man, oh, man, oh, man.
Try 'em yourself, gang. You'll say the very same thing.
Mm-hmm. Man, oh, man, oh, man.
Yes, get 'em today, boys and girls. Rice checks, wheat checks, good hot Ralston.
And remember, checks now have a brand new package. The Buzz Courier, Cadet Happy on the outside, and the Magic Space Picture on the inside.
And now back to Space Patrol and the adventure of a forgotten city. Buzz and Happy were searching for an atmosphere ship crashed in the Cinder Mountains of Saturn near the deserted city of Rubeck. After learning from Space Control that the missing pilot has been found 100 VUs away, Buzz and Happy decided to visit the deserted city. They entered the atmosphere shell without any trouble. But, unknown to the Space Patrolman, Rubeck is being used by a woman named Orlana as a hideout for stolen jewels. While Buzz and Happy were examining a treasure room in the base of a tower, they were fired upon by Orlana's henchman, Shefka. Now, Shefka has them cornered in a darkened passage and is waiting to shoot them with his ray gun.
Don't try to sneak up on me. I can hear every move you make. I warned you.
I'll take that ray gun. Have you got him, sir? No, stay down, Happy. He broke loose after him, Hap. Yes, sir. Well, there he goes through that door. He's locked that door on this way on the spot. It's opening, sir. After him, quickly. He's in the elevator, Commander. Come out of there! Oh, he's going up to the tower. We'll take the stairs. Come on, Haskell.
Oh, you fool. You blundering fool.
But they were in the treasure room at the base of the tower.
What if they were? You could have explained everything that's there. I have a difficult time now after idiotic interference.
I'm sorry, Orlana. I only did what I thought was best.
Hacking space between me. They'd never have known anyone was in the city to obey my orders.
What are we going to do now?
I'll have to face them and make an explanation. They're probably searching the tower now.
Hey, if you get me another gun, I could still fight them off.
No. Get me next room and contact Jason. Tell him to come in with his face of those ships outside the shell and nothing.
I thought that...
You've done all the thinking you're going to do. And now I'll just do what I tell you. If I can explain our presence here, I can explain Drayton's. If the space patrol is skeptical, well, Drayton's a good man to have around.
Yes. Drayton can handle that.
If you keep your mouth shut, we won't need Drayton. Now go on, make that space thing clear.
Yes, all right.
I'll go out and look out.
This is the top floor of the tower, sir. I'll be careful. I'll search every room. Where do I get my hands on a capture? Somewhere on the side of that door.
Oh, there you are. I was hoping I'd find you.
You're looking for someone, too.
Oh, you mean Schefter, my assistant. He told me what happened. I'm terribly sorry.
Where is he? I want to talk to him.
Please step in here. He'll be right out.
Thanks. Come on, Heather. Yes, sir. I'm Commander Corey of the Space Patrol.
And I'm Orlana Rupert.
Rubek. And you're related to the Lucian Rubek who built this city.
Yes, that's right. He was my great-great-grandfather.
I was under the impression that the city was deserted.
Well, I came here a few months ago with a couple of servants. Schefter, the man who fired at you, has been with the family for years.
Does he always treat visitors so cordially?
Oh, really, I'm awfully sorry about that. Schefter has a great sense of loyalty. He thinks his chief duty is to protect me.
So why do you live here in this deserted city?
I'm not surprised if you're curious, but the explanation's very simple. I'm writing a book about my family.
You like to work in solitude, huh?
Yes, it's a great inspiration to work right here in Lubeck City, where so much of Saturn's history is made. And, too, there are many ancient records and family documents right at hand.
I see. I suppose that you can prove that you're a member of the Rubek family.
Oh, naturally. I can refer to some influential people in Saturn City.
Oh. Now, would you bring your servant out here, please?
Yes, I'll be only a moment.
Yes, sir? What do you think? I don't know. Just writing a book is as good an explanation for being here as any. Matter of fact, a book about the Rubeks would no doubt be very popular. We'll see. Commander, look at this plastic folder. It was on the desk. Oh, that's right. Looks like a official identification folder. Okay, this is Baron Stone's ID folder. Hmm? The lab ship file? Yeah. It was found in the Vulcan Mountains. The identification folder is here in Lubeck City. Oh. How could his... I presume nothing happened.
Here he is, Commander. This is Schefter.
Commander Corey, please accept my apology. I was greatly in the wrong. I acted in a mistaken sense of duty.
If you thought we were intruders, there'd be some excuse, but have you forgotten that you seemed to accept the fact that we were space patrolmen at the time?
Well, I acted on impulse, Commander. Again, I'm sorry.
All right, sir. And Miss Rubek.
Yes, Commander.
I was just telling Cadet Happy that a book on the Rubek family ought to be very popular.
Well, I hope so, Commander.
I'd like to look over the first few chapters of your manuscript.
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm really in the note-gathering stage right now. There's really nothing down in manuscript form that anyone could read but myself.
Oh, I see. And would you show me around the tower? I imagine you must have a lot of family curios.
Well, is this an official search, Commander?
No, I don't have a warrant, but if you object to an informal tour...
Oh, no, not at all. Schefter and I'll be delighted to show you around.
Judging by a few items Happy and I saw down below, this ought to be very interesting.
But I think you've seen just about every room in the tower, Commander.
How about that room over there?
Oh, that's just a closet for a cleaning supplies.
Would you mind opening it?
Well, really, Commander,
Or I could come back with a warrant and squad a patrol.
Very well, if you insist. But there's really nothing in there. Unlock it, Schefter.
Anna.
Open it, Schefter.
Well, some real old family heirlooms. Stacks of space cards.
And very new.
All that money in a closet for cleaning supplies?
I suppose it is rather odd. But then here in this deserted city, one place is as good as another.
I'd like to ask you something, Miss Rubek. How do you happen to have an identification holder belonging to a space patrol scientist named Byron Stone?
Byron Stone? I don't understand.
Burns is reported in trouble in this area and was rescued in the Vulcan Mountain region. I'm waiting for an explanation, if you will.
Drayton, get them.
Yes, hold on. Look out, Commander.
That takes care of the big one. Now for you, my smaller friend.
Take your big mitts off me.
Quit struggling or I'll break your arm.
Ow! I'll help you, Drayton.
Get away, Captain. I can handle it.
You got here just in time, Drayton.
What are you doing?
They just wandered in. They know about that lab ship pilot. They found his identification thing.
Better take care of him for good.
I don't want any slip-ups this time, Drayton.
You better let me take care of it. He fumbled the last one.
Don't listen to him, Alana. I can fix it. Hold still, Cadet.
Ow! Oh, my shoulder.
Better hurt, still. Drayton's capable of breaking you in two.
Yeah. And Chef got two if he doesn't keep his mouth shut.
That's enough of that, Drayton. I need both of them.
You see, you big Venus buffalo.
Chef,
Stop that bickering.
Drayton's fault we're in this mess. He left the lab ship's pilot foldering your office.
That's enough of that shit. If it hadn't been for your stupid behavior, these men would never known you were here.
Well, what did he do, Alana?
Doesn't matter. I'll say one of us.
Hold still, Cadet, or I'll fix you like I did the other time.
The other fellow is Commander Corey, Commander-in-Chief of the Space Patrol.
Oh. Oh, what do you think of that? I have knocked out the great Commander Corey.
That's just fine, Drayton. I've got more work for you to do.
Yes.
You and Schaefer get rid of the commander's ship. Schaefer take the ship far away from here and hide it securely. Drayton will take my ship and bring Schaefer back.
Very well.
First, we've got to dispose of Corey and the Cadet. They're on space items, in case we've executed search by the Space Patrol. There's a room in the sub-basement of the tower. Seal them in there, Drayton. The room behind the stairs.
Yeah.
And make sure you seal the door up completely. I don't want anyone to suspect that there's even a room there.
You leave it to me, or not.
Chester, you help Drayton take these two down to sub-basement.
Yes, all right. Go ahead, Drayton.
What did Shefka do while I was gone? To bring the space patrol in, huh?
Just follow my orders, Drayton. And Chester, just 10 minutes. Command me from the post. Both of you report to me and we'll be right back.
Commander. We've got to do something quick. In a room in the sub-basement of the tower. Alana has one of the men sealing us up in here. Then they're going to get rid of our spaceship so nobody will come looking for it. That big bruiser is out there, so you can see through the window. I thought this room could use as a weapon. No, so I checked. All there is some old books and filing cases. There's Drayton grinning in here at us. He's getting ready to seal over the window. It certainly is. He carried me down here under one arm. What are we going to do, sir? We're going to get him to open the door for me. Whatever we do, we've got to do it quick. I see what we can do, sir. The door's locked and practically sealed. And when Drayton and Chester get rid of Terra 5, nobody will ever even come down here looking for it. It is, sir. Up on the surface level, I think. So don't forget that. I don't think those two like each other. They both seem to go out of their way to make the other look stupid in front of their enemy. They do. Drayton kept asking questions about what went on while he was away. I got the impression he wasn't very smart, but he was awfully inquisitive. And suspicious, perhaps. See how curious it really is. Let's go to work on those books and filing cabinets, Captain. Huh? You take the files. After those, you find something about Drake and point at him. Pretend you found some information about him. Did he? As though Orlando had a secret file on her henchman who had with it. The idea. You can arouse Draken's curiosity. Did you watch this, Captain? Sure is. He stops the minute at the door and he's gawking in through the window. Point at it again, all right. It's a great joke. It doesn't matter what you say. Point at the files. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hey, what a dope this Draken is. You know, he's just about dumb enough to tear down that concrete and open the door and find out what we're doing in here.
Get up.
Yeah. Hey, look at that big, dumb face. Hey, he's just aching to know what we found in here in the files, Commander.
You think you can open the door? No, that's very interesting in the file. Here he comes.
Hey, what have you got in there?
Nothing.
Oh, don't try to fool me. I've been watching you through the door. What does it say about me in those files?
Did there be anything about you in here, Draken?
There's something in there. I know it. Some lie Shefka told Alana. That's it. Shefka's up there now laughing at me. He figures he's tricked me into sealing up evidence against myself, right where he can get his hands on it when he needs it.
Draken, there's nothing in these files about you.
Get out of the way. You can't fool me, Corey.
Well, I guess that's right.
Hurry, you can't.
I've got him, Commander.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, right. With me, will you? Now, Corey.
No, now, you Draken. You're not breaking cold. Yeah. Let's get out of here before he comes to.
Chester, hasn't Bracken finished sealing up that room yet?
No, Alana. But I could have done it in half the time.
Clumsy oaf. We've got to get Corey's ship away from New York City right away.
While Bracken and I are gone, you might hide the stolen money and jewels just in case the Space Patrol squad comes here.
It's a good idea. We won't take any chances. Go down to sub-basement and see what's taking Bracken so long.
I'm afraid that Bracken got a little too curious, Alana.
Corey! Shifka, do something!
Come back here, Shifka boy. Get him, Happy.
Let go of me.
Come on, Shifka. I've got him, Commander. Take Shifka's ray gun. Go down and bring Bracken up here. Yes, sir. Oh, Commander, while I'm down there, shall I bring up some of those files? What for? Well, sir, I just thought that Orlana might really decide to write a book about Rubeck, because, well, after all, now she's going to have plenty of time on her hands. Ah!
A preview of next week's exciting Space Patrol adventure follows in just a moment. It's a fire. A 4-alarm blaze on Terra. But, hey, what's the matter with that atomic fire-controlled jet car? Oh, too bad. It's trying to get along on ordinary fuel. That fire control officer's filling the tank up with super fuel. Wow! Listen to that fire-controlled jet car go now. It's supercharged, that's what. Supercharged with super fuel. Yes, sir, boys and girls. To really get going, the answer is super fuel. That's why Buzz Corey eats a good breakfast with the super cereals that help to supercharge you. Rice Chex and Wheat Chex. Ah, there's a couple of really swell-tasting cereals. And both of them have that modern, bite-sized design for easy eating. So, gang, get a quick start in the morning like Buzz Corey does. Eat a good breakfast with a checkerboard super cereal and get supercharged. Get them today. Rice Chex and Wheat Chex in the grand new packages with Buzz Corey or Cadet Happy on the outside and the magic space picture on the inside. And now, an exciting action preview of next week's Space Patrol adventure. Buzz and Happy are searching for a saboteur in the vat room of a plastics factory on Jupiter. Cautiously, they duck under pipes of hot gas feeding into the vats. All right, keep your ray gun ready. Yes. Ow. Corbett was right about these pipes being hot. Be careful. He's not behind this one. Let's try number 2. Wow. What was that? The pipes has exploded. Blew a valve, probably. Can rockets feel that heat? Come on. We got to get out of here. My throat, I can't breathe. It's the gas in the broken pipe. That gas is poison. Be sure to be with us next Saturday for the exciting story, The Vanishing Lake, when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Ralston again bring you Space Patrol! Special bulletin for boys and girls in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and Knoxville, Tennessee. Buzz Corey's own space battle cruiser, the Ralston Rocket, will be in your area next week. Don't miss it. The Ralston Rocket. Space Patrol, an original Mike Moses production starring Ed Kemmer as Commander Corey and Glenn Osborne as Cadet Happy, was written by Lou Houston and directed by Larry Robertson. Other players were Bela Kovac, Ken Mayer, Virginia Hewitt, and Stephen Robertson. Dick Tufeld speaking. Now, don't forget to tune in next Saturday and every Saturday when Wheat Chex, Rice Chex, and Good Hot Ralston again present the new, exciting Space Patrol. Be sure to see another exciting Space Patrol program on your local ABC television station. Consult your local paper for time and channel. Space Patrol comes to you transcribed from Hollywood. This is ABC Radio Network.